Underdog Broncos began the passing and running of quarterback John Elway. Had the Giants' defense confused in the first half, Denver taking a 10-9 lead into halftime. But in the third quarter, Giant defenders put on an awesome show. While quarterback Phil Simms led the offense to 17 points, the defense held the Broncos to 2 net yards and 0 points. Plays like this one by defensive end Leonard Marshall salted the game away, much to the delight of NFC Player of the Year linebacker Lawrence Taylor. For most of the last quarter, the only suspense remaining was when would Captain Harry Carson give Coach Bill Parcells his now familiar Gatorade victory shower. And when it finally came, how sweet it must have been. After 30 years of frustration and futility, the Giants were once again on top of the football world, 39-20 victors in the Super Bowl. Today in Honolulu, Hawaii, Elway will again line up against Marshall, Taylor, and Carson in the AFC-NFC Pro Bowl. But unlike the Super Bowl, this last week, the emphasis has been on fun.
This is Harry Carson, captain of the World Championship New York Giants, and here I am in Honolulu on Waikiki Beach with some of my friends. For all of you people back on the East Coast, I really feel bad for you because it's about 87 degrees here, and as you can see, the sun is shining. We need sunglasses and suntan oil.
The 8 Giants and the 6 Broncos in today's Pro Bowl will be joined by a galaxy of the greatest NFL stars like Walter Payton, the all-time rushing leader, making his record-tying 9th Pro Bowl appearance. And lining up in the same backfield, the single-season rushing record holder, Eric Dickerson, the explosive one from the Los Angeles Rams. It's been a long season. It's been an exciting season, and it ends today in Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, Hawaii. You'll see it on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Spanning the globe to bring you the constant variety of sport, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat. The human drama of athletic competition. This is ABC's Wide World of Sport.
Brought to you by Budweiser, the genuine article, Beechwood aged, with that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Certainty, manufacturer of America's finest quality fiberglass insulation. And by the U.S. Army, a place to be all you can be.
Aloha Stadium on the island of Oahu in Hawaii. It's sold out on a spectacularly beautiful Hawaiian day. We hate to say that for members that might be watching from the East Coast, but it is a beautiful day for football, the final football game of the 1986 season, matching the stars from the American Football Conference and the National Football Conference. There you can see the stadium, and again, it is sold out. Hello again, everyone. I'm Frank Everett, along with Al Michaels and Lynn Swan, bringing you the 17th annual AFC-NFC All-Star Game. The NFC has dominated this game. They have won 7 of the last 9, but you never really know what to anticipate. In any event, we're going to have a very active day here for you on ABC Sports. At halftime, we're going to go down to Australia and get a report on the America's Cup, where Kookaburra 2 is now down 2 races to 1 to Stars and Stripes, with skipper Dennis O'Connor doing a great job there. We're also going to be covering the World Cup Alpine Skiing Championships, that from Crom, Montana. That has just gotten underway, so it's going to be a very busy day here from Honolulu. First, a little bit about the Pro Bowl. I played in 6 of these over my career, and a lot of strange things happen. You come over to a game like this, you have a lot of fun. You bring your wife, you bring the kids, and that's the kind of week it should be. And then all of a sudden, when you get into this game, you start to think about the money. It's much different now. These players are playing for $10,000 a winning player versus $5,000 a winning player. But if they get down close, say in the third quarter, all of a sudden that does become a factor. It is, however, a lot of fun, and we have some of the finest that have ever played this game on hand today. And, Al, when you think about this game in particular, a lot of strange things can happen, but NFC would seemingly have just a bit of an edge.
I just want to know how you get your game face on at 11 o'clock in the morning. It may take a while. I'd agree with you, Frank, that the NFC would have the edge. They've won 7 of 9, as you mentioned. Also, the NFC representative has routed the AFC representative in the last 3 Super Bowl games. They have more depth and more quality in this one, and the AFC is coming up a little short as well, because in the voting, Dan Marino would have started the game for the AFC, but he's going to undergo arthroscopic knee surgery, so he's not here. It'll be Elway and Esiason. They're also minus Marcus Allen with an ankle injury, and Kurt Warner, who was the top running back in the AFC, was a scratch because of the flu earlier this week. On the other side, Joe Gibbs and the NFC can start the game with Walter Payton and Eric Dickerson as his running backs, and when they get tired or hot in this 80-degree weather here in Hawaii, he goes to the bench for people like Joe Morris and Gerald Riggs. So the NFC would figure to have the advantage. Roaming the sidelines for us today is a man who's played in a few of these, Lynn Swan. Lynn?
Thank you, Al. It is hot and humid down here, and I don't think it's going to let up throughout the ball game. But while we're down here, while the players and I are trying to avoid the heat in some fashion, I'll have the honor of introducing to you the 7 new inductees into the Hall of Fame. There's some spectacular players. You see that we have all been properly laid this afternoon. Also this afternoon, I will try and get a hula lesson. So I'm going to try and have as much fun as the players while we attempt to stay as cool and calm as possible on one of the most gorgeous and beautiful Hawaiian afternoons I have seen in a long time. But right now, the teams are just getting onto the field after their warm-ups, and we're all set for the kickoff. So let's go back upstairs to Al Michaels and Frank Gifford.
All right, Lynn, a beautiful day, and again, Aloha Stadium is sold out. The Pro Bowl has found what would be described pretty much as a permanent home here in Hawaii after the game had been moved around for so many years. The people in the 50th state love it. They love to watch the great stars in the NFL. It's the 8th time the game has been played here, and it's the 7th sellout, and the other time was a near sellout. So the blackout is lifted as the 50th state looks on, both live and on television today.
And Al, if I could correct myself, at the top I said it was 2-1, the U.S. over Australia. It's actually 2-0. I hope I wasn't looking down the line. And Dennis Conner and his crew will be going a little later on. We'll have that report on the America's Cup at halftime.
Here we go now in Hawaii with the NFC in blue to receive, and Vai Sikahema, who was born in Tonga, spent a couple of years during his youth here in Hawaii, and comes out of BYU and the St. Louis Cardinals back to receive, but it's taken by one of the upmen, Gerald Riggs, at the 19-yard line, and the Atlanta Falcon running back takes the ball out to the 32. The starters are voted into the Pro Bowl by their peers and by the coaches. And it's Tommy Kramer of the Minnesota Vikings, who is in his 10th season in the NFL, who gets to the Pro Bowl for the first time. He is the #1 quarterback for the NFC, and Jay Schrader of Washington is #2. Phil Simms not here. Simms was last year's MVP, but not voted in after the '86 season. And on first down, Kramer right to the air and throws complete out to the 43-yard line for a first down to Gary Clark of the Washington Redskins. A gain of 11, first down out of the 43. They start with Dickerson and Payton. Then the wideouts are Rice and Clark. And Mark Bavaro is the starting tight end. And then up front, Covert of the Bears, Fralick of Atlanta, Hilgenberg of the Bears, and then the 2 Rams on the right side, Dennis Harrah and Jackie Slater. Art Monk now in the game. 2 of the NFC's 4 wideouts are Redskins, Clark and Monk. And it's Payton, who takes it out to the 46-yard line. He is stopped by Rulon Jones of the Denver Broncos. And there he is with Bill Moss of Kansas City and the Raider Howie Long. Then the linebackers, Banks of Cleveland, Mecklenburg of Denver, Offerdahl, the Miami rookie, and Tippett of the Patriots. Dixon of Cleveland, Haynes of the Raiders, Dennis Smith, who played in the Super Bowl with Denver, and Cherry of Kansas City.
Special rules to have here in the Pro Bowl really lend themselves to a passing game much more than a running game. There is no blitzing only in certain situations. We'll talk about that a little later on. You have to play a 3-4. The zone you can play is very specified.
On 2nd and 7, it's Dickerson through the middle, out to the 49-yard line. And it'll be 3rd and 4 with Offerdahl making the tackle. What's interesting to note, Frank, is that the rules try to bring about a passing game, a high-scoring game. Sometimes it happens, but pretty much just as often you'll have a 16-13 outcome.
That's true, and also the fact the defense can come together so much more quickly. When you bring offensive players in with different numerical systems, different word systems, it's a very difficult thing to put an offense together. Meanwhile, the defenses, if you let them come from any kind of a blitz, anything they wanted to do, they would just destroy this game. And that's why they have the special rules.
On 3rd and 4, Rice, Monk, and Clark all go out into the pattern, and it's the tight end Bavaro over the middle at the 44-yard line. Mark Bavaro of the New York Giants hit by Deron Cherry for a first down. So Kramer, and can you imagine as a quarterback going back to pass, knowing you've got Jerry Rice, Art Monk, and Gary Clark all running their routes, and he goes to Bavaro as Sims did so often during the regular season.
And a world of riches it is. Just to finish those special rules, you can use a man-to-man with a strong side roll. You can, on 3rd and 4th down, and during the last 2 minutes, you can have a 5th defensive back, and you can bring the 2 outside linebackers. But those are the only downs that you can do that.
Pitch. Payton looking to throw. Lost one. Way out of bounds. Jerry Rice was kind of in the neighborhood. Dennis Smith put the pressure on that time and forced Payton to get rid of it.
I think Walter Payton would just as soon throw the football as he would run it. He gets a big kick out of it, and over his career, his lengthy career of 12 years, he's thrown it many times. This time, no receiver downfield, and he just got rid of it in the general direction of Jerry Rice. But you mentioned one player a moment ago, Al, that is Bavaro of the Giants. He had a great season. Not only a fine receiver, he had 66 receptions, but he makes the difference in a running game for a team. Huge. And he really was responsible for the Giants being able to move the ball so well on the ground this past season.
2nd and 10 for the NFC at the AFC 44. Kramer throws over the middle, hits Payton, and Walter takes it to the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd and about 3. John Offerdahl, number 59, and Mike Merriweather, the outside linebacker from the Pittsburgh Steelers, converge on the tackle. Gorgeous day in Hawaii. We had some rain yesterday. In fact, it wouldn't have been a bad day to play the game for the players yesterday, not for the Chamber of Commerce, but it was a lot cooler and damp. And today the sun is out, bright sunshine again, and temperature in the low 80s.
Joe Gibbs sending the plays in, and Marty Schottenheimer of the AFC will send his plays in by signal. Now, 3rd and 3, it'll be interesting to see what Gibbs is going to consider here in the Pro Bowl for his 3rd and short yardage situation. I'll give Big man Dickerson over the right side, carrying the football for you. Why not keep it on the ground?
Dickerson out of the I formation that time, and he's close to the first down. Bob Golick in on the tackle. The refereeing crew is headed by Dick Jorgensen. They have to get to the 34 as Jorgensen takes a look.
They'll be close. They may have to measure it. What a luxury, though, for a quarterback to drop back and know pretty much what he's going to have in terms of a defense. And he can look over there. He knows he's not going to have a full blitz coming. There will be no safety blitzing. And it is a luxury. Consequently, Kramer already 3 for 3.
Meanwhile, Jorgensen had signaled that they were shy of the first down initially, and then the request was made for a measurement so that the NFC can see just how much they need. Not much.
They got to go for it inside the 35-yard line, and they'll send the play in, and they hustle one in. But in this game, you just have to go.
And especially in the Pro Bowl, sure. This game is played for the fans, and strategy is not necessarily meaningless, but certainly not of the type that you would see during a regular season confrontation. The coaches, among other things, not only trying to win the game, but trying to get everybody into the game, let the fans see the stars. So 4th and inches from the 35-yard line. And it's Dickerson. And just like in the regular season, to the 31-yard line. That's the type of play that the Rams would run on 4th and inches, and the result, normally what you saw right there. First down, L.A., or NFC, as the case may be, here at the 31-yard line.
Bottom of your screen is Jacoby blowing out the Washington Redskins, leading the way for the Los Angeles Ram, Eric Dickerson. Chip Banks up there defensively. Great linebacker from the Cleveland Browns, but Dickerson carries for the first down at the 31-yard line.
So the NFC has started with 3 consecutive first downs. They have Rice and Clark split to the left. One of the reserve NFC wide receivers, Mike Quick, has the flu, and he won't play today. Payton to the outside. And Walter takes the ball to the 25-yard line. Walter Payton playing in his 9th AFC-NFC Pro Bowl.
Interesting, too, talking to him earlier. He's forgotten how many times he's the captain. He said it was either the 4th time or the 5th time, but it also gives you an idea of the popularity of Walter Payton among his peers.
So Payton, as the graphic illustrated, tying a mark. The Pro Bowl was played before 71, but that was before the merger. And so in terms of records and awards and things of that nature, for the most part, you go back to 1971 when the AFC met the NFC for the first time in this game. Dickerson slips, goes nowhere, and down he goes at the 27-yard line. Dennis Smith came blitzing through to break up the play, and it'll be 3rd down.
Had another look at Walter Payton, just a quick look there for a moment, as it was Dickerson who was slipping, but Walter Payton had made a terrific block for him. Had he been able to keep his feet, he could have picked up some yardage on it. Meanwhile, we get the changes we talked about on 3rd and long situation. You can bring in a 5th defensive back, and that's what the AFC has done now. And the NFC adjusting accordingly.
3rd down and 6. The NFC has had the ball from the outset. This is a 6.5-minute drive. And on 3rd and 6, Kramer under pressure, escapes one man, but not the next, and down he goes in the arms of Bill Moss. Howie Long put the initial pressure on, and then Bill Moss finished him off. And it's 4th down back at the 39-yard line. It'll be 4th and 18, and Sean Landeta comes in to punt.
And even when your offensive line knows where they're coming from, they can't do a whole lot of blitzing. They can't do a whole lot of stunning because of the rules. Still, the caliber of play that we watch here in the Pro Bowl is the kind of play that will get the sack. A couple of years ago, we had a record 17 sacks in this game?
4 by Mark Gastineau. Landeta, one of 8 Giants, stands back at his own 46-yard line. And Bobby Joe Edmonds of the Seattle Seahawks is back to receive at the 10. Landeta tries to angle it. The wind holds it up, but it takes a good NFC bounce and is down inside the 5 at the 3-yard line by Ricky Jackson of the Saints. 36-yard kick, and the AFC will take over offensively for the first time with 8:06 to go in a scoreless first period in Honolulu.
Welcome back, Brad. All those trips you made paid off. The Avcon people just called and gave us the project. Check your top drawer. There's one more trip I want you to take. Aloha, Brad, and thanks.
When you're something special, people know it.
Oh, for a warm and cozy castle, insulated safely from the cold of winter. Cold cuts? Oh, for Insulsafe 3 from Certainty. Pure white fiberglass insulation. Thermally efficient, non-combustible. Oh, warm. For year-round comfort. Help protect your home or castle. Insulate safely with Insulsafe 3. Call your insulation contractor now.
Who has transformed home entertainment, bringing sight and sound together with one remote. Who RCA with Digital Command Component Systems. A choice of components operated by one remote that deliver a sight and sound experience you must experience. Digital Command Component Systems. If you settle for less than RCA, that's exactly what you'll get.
The Pro Bowl at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. The NFC held the ball for almost 7 minutes. And now the AFC takes over at its own 3, and John Elway gets the start at quarterback, again in the absence of Dan Marino, who will be undergoing arthroscopic knee surgery. Not until, however, he completes play in the Pebble Beach Pro-Am along with his playing partner. again, Warner and Marcus Allen not here. And Elway on first down to throw. And incomplete. Good coverage by the NFC as he tried to get it finally to Largent underneath. As the safety valve, Reggie White of the Eagles put the pressure on in the end zone. Second down.
Elway will give you a thrill. He is so confident in what he can do. He danced around that end zone. He's trying to go deep to James Brooks, who actually came open just about the time that Elway had to get out of the pocket.
Toon and Largent, the wideouts. Christensen is the tight end. And then the guys up front, including two Bengals, Munoz and Montoya. Munoz was a unanimous choice. Ernest Jackson is now in the game as a running back. And on second down, the pass is caught by James Brooks out at the 7-yard line. The big difference, and there is Marty Schottenheimer of the Cleveland Browns. And we talked at the outset about the NFC backs, the big men, Payton and Dickerson and Morris and Riggs. And there is the NFC defense with White, McMichael, and Manley up front. The linebackers featuring the two giants, Carson and Taylor, and the secondary. But the big difference is the NFC backs average close to 1,500 yards per man this season. The AFC backs only 800. Elway complete to Ernest Jackson, and Jackson is dropped at the 8-yard line by Dexter Manley of Washington, number 72. And so the AFC 3 and out, and they'll have to punt. Dexter Manley popping Elway that time.
And he almost gets to safety. You'll see at the bottom of your screen, number 72, the Washington Redskins, Dexter Manley just blowing by Munoz. And Elway didn't even see him, and he was just lucky to be able to unload it before he got nailed for 2 points in the end zone. And let's see, we'll get this back in good field position.
Ron Stark of the Indianapolis Colts. It's funny when you think about it. There are 3 Indianapolis Colts in this game and 2 New York Jets and 2 San Francisco 49ers. Good kick. Fielded at the 48-yard line by Mike Sikkahema of the Cardinals, and he takes it back across the 50 and to the AFC 48 with 6 minutes and 17 seconds to play in the first quarter. No score in the Pro Bowl.
Fans, please.
Mr. Garfield, welcome to Embassy Suites Hotel.
My room.
Oh, all our rooms are really 2-room suites for the price of a single room.
Beautiful. Don't change a thing.
The living room, sir.
Love what you've done with this room.
The bedroom.
This is great. I need my space.
And, of course, you'll want to take advantage of Embassy Suites' free breakfast.
Food.
Served every morning.
At Embassy Suites, you don't have to be a fat cat to enjoy the sweet life.
I resemble that remark.
The new Mitsubishi Mighty Max, patiently crafted to be serious fun for the money. Only $64.59. Mighty Max gives you more standard features than Toyota, Nissan, or Mazda. And with a 5-speed manual overdrive transmission, tilt steering, double-wall cargo box, and more, it's still priced lower than all 3. The Mitsubishi Mighty Max. When you're ready for some serious fun for the money, it's ready to kick up a little dust. Mitsubishi.
Once upon a time, millions of us roamed the bathrooms of America.
We're bull shavers, convinced we had to use shavers with all kinds of expensive extras.
But we don't pay an arm and a hoof anymore, 'cause us bull shavers are becoming
Bic shavers. Bic gives us an extraordinary shave at an extraordinary price, without bells or whistles. To pay more makes you, well, bullheaded. Try the Bic for normal or sensitive skin, and you, too, will have a beat.
with bull shaving.
World champion Debbie Thomas defends her national crown live, plus women's slalom greats and an America's Cup report on ABC's Wide World of Sports, Saturday.
Wind chill factor 86. That's insult to injury if you're watching in Fargo.
And along the East Coast, where they're still buried from a series of snowstorms. Absolutely perfect. And not a humid day. They'll survive it.
NFC has the ball at the AFC's 48-yard line. No score. First quarter in the Pro Bowl. And Tommy Kramer of the Vikings back to throw. And going deep for Gary Clark. And incomplete. He was shadowed by Frank Minifield of the Browns. And it'll be second down.
Mennefield was a player picked by Coach Marty Schottenheimer, a needed player. Each coach gets one player they call a needed player. Good coverage by Mennefield. He and Hanford Dixon play so much man-to-man with Cleveland. He was right there, perfect position. I might point out that the offensive restrictions are very few. You cannot use a motion man, and you cannot have a shifting of your offensive line. So that's all the restrictions for the offense.
2nd and 10. The fullback is Gerald Riggs. The tailback is Joe Morris. And Kramer over the middle and tries to hit his teammate. That's Steve Jordan of the Vikings, who's the backup tight end to Mark Bavaro. And it'll be 3rd down.
What a year Bavaro had. I was with Don Shula at the Super Bowl, and he was the one he really picked out as making a tremendous difference from last year to this year in the Giants team. And not so much the fact that he caught over 60 passes during the regular season, the fact that he did such a tremendous job blocking for Joe Morris. There he is. He's the quiet one. Doesn't have a whole lot to say. He just lets his play speak for himself.
3rd and 10. He's on the bench at the moment with Jordan in as the tight end. And with 3 wideouts at his disposal, Kramer on a roll and going deep for Clark and 2 deep. And it'll be 4th down. Ray Claiborne of the New England Patriots and Burris of Kansas City were back there.
He was open for just a moment, Gary Clark. A little look to the outside, and that throws the cornerback, Claiborne, for just a second. And there he was, but Tommy Kramer was rolling to his left, right-handed passer, hard for him to come back and still keep it away from Burris, the free safety who was roaming around back there.
It's breezy and it's tricky for the quarterbacks here as the pass was overthrown and now Landetta to punt. His first was a beauty because it went out of bounds at the 3-yard line. This one flies. And the catch is made at the 11 by Bobby Joe Evans, who slides down at the 13-yard line. And so the AFC takes over again and again deep in their own territory. Scoreless first period, 5:49 to go in the quarter.
Give the Army Signal Corps 30 minutes, and they can turn a mountaintop into a satellite communication station.
Bravo 26, Bravo 26. This is Tango 59er. Tango 59er. How do you hear me? Over.
If you want to work with high-tech communication, the Army hears you loud and clear. Qualify and we'll train you to work with troposcatter radios, microwave equipment, or even satellite systems.
Roger, Bravo 26. Loud and clear.
We got him! Right.
You did well. We're well connected, Sergeant.
Find your future in the Army.
Here's the purchase agreement for your Tandy computers. The training sounds great. Can we get it done in time?
Absolutely. The schedule we've designed for your people includes courses for each department with hands-on training and specialized software instruction.
And we'll be with you every step of the way. That's the kind of support and training we need.
Tandy Computers at Radio Shack Computer Centers. In business, for business.
Sunday on Disney, Minerva's a misfit who lives at a casino. But this man bets he can make her a lady.
But
You Ruined My Life, Sunday.
Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, the end of the football season. And for the 8th year in a row, host to the AFC-NFC Pro Bowl. We're scoreless. The AFC in white with the ball on its own 13-yard line as Elway goes back to pass. And John going off. And the catch is made to 42 by James Brooks of Cincinnati.
What a beautiful shot by Elway. He had the time, of course, but he hit Brooks right in stride. He gets the protection. No blitzing once again. He's looking Brooks all the way. Brooks working against the linebacker coming out of the backfield. Got himself matched up there with Carson. Carson did a good job. He was close enough. And in the pursuit for a linebacker that big to stay with Brooks, that's pretty good coverage. But Elway threw that ball absolutely perfect.
Gain of 30. First down AFC as they finally have breathing room from their own 44-yard line, and they keep it on the ground. And this is Brooks, who gets into NFC territory, and he takes it to the 46. And let's get a word from Lynn Swann.
Thank you, Al. Thank you. I'm with two guys who are going into the Hall of Fame this year. To my right, John Henry Johnson, one-fourth of the phenomenal forcemen that played in San Francisco, the last one to go into the Hall of Fame. Did you think for a while they had forgotten about you there, John?
I thought they had, Lynn, and I thought possibly I would have to die before I made it, but apparently it came through before, and I'm quite happy about it.
You played for the 49ers, you played Detroit. Some say your best years were in Pittsburgh. Which one do you think most fondly of?
Well, I agree with that. I think my best years were in Pittsburgh. I had an opportunity to carry the ball a little more. And we won 9, 10 games out of a 12-game schedule, so we did pretty well.
And obviously very happy to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Quite happy to be inducted to the Hall of Fame. And I must say hello to all my good friends in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and where it got started at in Pittsburgh, California.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back in just a moment with Lenny Dawson.
All right, Lynn, and the AFC picking up a first down on Brooks' 10-yard run. That's the 46 of the NFC, and Elway dumps it off, but he was in the grass. He was already down to the 46, so that will go as a sack. Dexter Manley and Lawrence Taylor will probably each get a half sack when they sum it all up, and let's check in with Lynn again.
Al, we're here with Lenny Dawson, one of the great quarterbacks in the National Football League. In those old days when Pittsburgh traded you away, did you think you'd be here in the Hall of Fame?
No way. I think this is a Pittsburgh connection. John Henry Johnson, you, and myself. John Henry, when I left, they brought him in. Things got a lot better for the Pittsburgh Steelers. No, there was no way that after the first 5 years, 3 with Pittsburgh, 2 with Cleveland, I ever thought that I'd be anywhere near this place. I just wanted to find out if I could play, and like I think the rest of the people here, we're just very, very happy to be here.
Super Bowl IV, you led the Kansas City Chiefs to a Super Bowl championship early in the merger years of the two leagues. Did you really believe that your team was on the verge of such destiny, that you yourself were on the verge of such greatness?
I don't think we could see that far ahead, Lynn. I hope some of the other people did, but I know when we played in Super Bowl I against the Green Bay Packers and had our first taste against the National Football League, trying to get some respect for that new American Football League, we felt pretty good about it. And then when Joe Namath defeated the Colts, Joe Namath, I'm talking about the Jets, the entire team, and then the Chiefs in Super Bowl IV, I think that solidified things. That told everybody the American Football League, yes, did indeed arrive.
So, congratulations on going into the Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much.
All right, Lynn, on 3rd and 15, penalty flags all over the place as they jumped on the line of scrimmage. Steve Largent was the intended receiver, and we'll get our first call from Jorgensen, who begins to signal offside.
It looked like they might have been drawing the defense off, and they're going to work it out.
Offside.
Offside. Defense. Illegal motion. Flanker back. Offense. Penalties offset. Still 3rd down.
Down will go over, and let's take a look at it. There is the offside. Quick move on the outside by Dexter Manley, on the inside by Leonard Marshall, and there was motion on the part of the AFC. If you could, now just for a moment, John Henry Johnson had to be one of the most underrated players in the history of this game. No one could figure why it took so long. He had spectacular years, not only in San Francisco and Detroit, but Buddy Parker brought him down to Pittsburgh, and he was the franchise for 2 or 3 years there. And I know both of them well, Lynn Dawson and John Henry Johnson. My congratulations to both of them.
3rd down and 15 as Elway throws incomplete, nearly caught by Todd Christensen, who was wrapped up by Wilbur Marshall. Elway throwing off his back foot and getting it there, but it's incomplete and it's 4th down.
Nobody can do that. Elway is the only one I know that could throw a ball falling down backwards and put it in the air about almost 30 yards. There he just jumps up to get it over the defender coming in on him. Christensen is there, is underthrown just a little bit as the coverage is provided by the Bears' Wilbur Marshall. But Elway just continues to do the most amazing things.
Ron Stark of the Colts to kick now. With 3:10 to play in the first quarter, no score in Honolulu. Very high kick, and a fair catch is called for and dropped by Zickerhammer, and a loose ball at the 15-yard line. Fred Young was there. You can't advance AFC's ball as you cannot advance the muff. They take over at the 15-yard line.
There's the first big break of the ball game. And the AFC keeps the football and have it inside the 20. Let's take a look at it again. There's the fair catch. Perfect signal is on. Sukahima is lined up and very sure-handed throughout the season. Bound right into the arms of Freddie Young, who has made this football team, and not as a special teams player as he did a couple of years ago, but made it with credentials as a linebacker. But he is one of the fine special teams players in the game today. Number 50, Freddie Young from the Seahawks.
So for the AFC, first down at the 17-yard line, and it's Brooks following Mosi Tutupu, who takes the ball inside the 15 to the 14-yard line. Mosi Tutupu, who grew up in Hawaii, now plays with the New England Patriots, made this squad as a special teamer, but with the injuries and the fact that Warner has not been able to play in the game, won't because of the flu earlier this week, Marcus Allen had to scratch. Tutupu may get a chance to carry the ball as well as be a part of the special teams here today, and the crowd would love that.
Meanwhile, they work. There he's in there now. There's number 30, Mosi Tutupu, but they are going to work James Brooks a lot. He's a tremendous receiver out of the backfield as well as a fine running back.
2nd and 7. Elway steps up. Vintage Elway slides down to the 3 for a first down.
It just changes the game. The entire complexion of it. Such a tremendous athlete. He had receivers dancing around in the end zone. One of them might have come open for him, but he also knew that he had a chance to get it into the end zone. He knew for certain he had the first down there. He crosses his backs, trying to keep the drop of the linebackers in tight. Spots the opening. He had receivers running around back there, but he had so much confidence in what he could do, and he does get the first down just inside the 5-yard line. Sargent was wide open, but Elway was thinking, well, I have got this for sure myself. Why go with it?
First and goal, AFC at the 5-yard line. Brooks, no gain. He's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage. It'll be second down goal with 1 minute and 20 seconds to play and a scoreless first quarter. Carl Eckern of the Rams, number 55, made the tackle. For Eckern, a moment in the sun, long overdue. Eckern in the league for 10 years, and there is Marty Schottenheimer, and Carl playing in his first Pro Bowl. A la Kramer.
Lindy Infante, the offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns, of course, also here. He has put in an offense that is very simple. A lot of words describing the plays, and very few numbers.
Second and goal from the 5. End around, and that doesn't fool anybody. Largent gets taken down by Leonard Marshall of the Giants. Funny, the Giants have 8 players in the game, and still Sims is not here, and neither is Carl Banks.
AFC pulled their left guard, Foster. They would have been a little better off. Maybe, I'm not sure Foster had that play down right. He should have been pulling right. When you come back with the reverse like that and pull the guard right into Leonard Marshall, he has nothing to read but the guard. He wasn't fooled at all.
Third and goal from the 11.
Drilled that in there. He has so much confidence. Christensen was covered on either side of Elway. Just smoked it into Christensen. A lot of receivers maybe wouldn't have handled that football. Christensen caught it in his hands and then pulled it into his chest. And you'll see the speed he had on this football. Christensen, a great tight end for the Raiders, drilled it right in there. Christensen took it in his hands, not on his chest where he could have lost it. Ronnie Lott, one of the better defensive backs this game has ever known, but back there with Joey Browner and Darrell Green, they could do nothing to keep Christensen from putting that ball into the end zone.
That's a Bavaro move. The line judge had to take a second look. He gave the touchdown call sort of a stutter signal and then raised the arms upright. And the kick by Tony Franklin is good, and the AFC is able to capitalize on the muffed punt by Sukahima. The recovery by Fred Young, and then Elway hits Christensen, who bowls his way in for the score. And at the end of the first quarter, it has just ended. It's 7-0 AFC.
Why do 32 million Americans protect their engines with Quaker State motor oil? Because they're card-carrying people who want only the best.
Of the NFC after the first quarter, ABC's Wide World of Sports is being brought to you by General Motors, where the vision is paying off. What a spectacular day. How many years did you live here?
3. Great, too. Love it.
And it was always like this?
Always like this. 7-0. The AFC on top as we start the second quarter. That touchdown coming on the final play of the first period. And it is Sikahema who takes it out to the 39-yard line. There was a master stroke on the part of the NFL to move the game here as we once again look at Christensen's effort to get the ball into the end zone for the touchdown.
He's got 3 defensive backs, and they're all pretty good ones. Mike Haynes is there. Also, Joey Browner, Ronnie Lott, and they couldn't keep him out of the end zone.
Smart move, though, Frank,
yes,
by the NFL to move this game to a non-NFL city, as it were, because it gives the fans here a chance to look ahead and to watch the final football game of the season and to see all of the stars.
Well, that's your point. When they played the States, the players didn't want to come. They didn't want to play in it.
Right. First down, and it's dumped off to the 41-yard line of Walter Payton, and the new quarterback is Jay Schrader of the Redskins, and this is par for the course in the Pro Bowl. You'll see your starter normally go the first quarter, as was the case with Kramer, and now Schrader is in there. And for the AFC, we have seen Elway, and we will probably be seeing Boomer Esiason very shortly.
4,109 yards is the most in the NFC, and second in the NFL to Marino.
Second down, 6. From the 41-yard line. Dickerson moves it out to the 48. Eric is close to the first down. Carl Mecklenburg of the Broncos making the tackle. Again with Dickerson and Payton and Morris and Riggs as the running backs. The NFC can do the job on the ground. Another big year for Dickerson, leading the league in rushing yardage.
A lot of Rams in there. Doug Smith is in at center. Jackie Slater is in there over the right side. Dickerson in the backfield.
From the 48, this is Payton back of Dickerson. And he takes it to the 50-yard line for a gain of about 2. It'll be 2nd and 8 as Burris and Mecklenburg converge on the tackle. Again, the winner of the game, each man will pocket $10,000, and the loser $5,000. And talking about moving the game to Hawaii, not only have they been able to fill this place 7 of the 8 years and have a near sellout in the other, but as Frank mentioned a moment ago, the players, you used to have a lot of no-show amongst the players, and that has been cut down. After all, how do you turn down an all-expenses trip to Hawaii?
Try to tell your wife that. Yeah, that's why you never turn it down.
That's where the pressure comes from.
One of the other big things, of course, here in the Pro Bowl, as the offsides is indicated against the AFC, is the fact that these players get a chance to meet players, and many times for the first time that they have ever had a chance to see them up close and personal, so to speak. They've read about them, they have looked at them on films and videotapes, that all of a sudden here they are, and that's Walter Payton 1 yard short of O.J. Simpson's collective yardage over the many games he played.
Somehow I can hear the juice in my ear saying, but I did it in 5 games instead of 9. 2nd and 3. Dickerson breaks the tackle, takes it to the 40, and picks up the first down. Chip Banks and Lloyd Burris making the tackle on the play.
Get the feeling that down the line, Eric Dickerson will be the man who will be moving in on that record, even if Walter does break it today, when in all probability he will. Let's take a look at it again. Again, it's a 3-4 defense, and pulling from the right side, Dennis Harris there, Doug Smith, Jackie Slater. Just like the Rams offensive sweep that they use, or power play to the left.
First and 10. NFC at the 40-yard line. AFC on top 7-0. Schrader completes it to the Barrows inside the 20. And out of bounds at the 11-yard line, and the penalty marker goes down. Lloyd Burris gets credit for the tackle and may also have been flagged for a face mask.
Navarro, as big as he is, has that knack for getting open. Schrader had a lot of time, just looked for the big man. Penalty being discussed. Options being given by our official.
5 yards, face mask foul, number 34, defense, first down. So they tack it on against Boris, and it'll be first and goal at the 7-yard line after a 28-yard pass play and then the 5-yard tack on.
You'll see it, number 34, Burris of the Chiefs, as he gets his straight arm right in the face, hangs on and gets a hand in there at the mask, and it'll be first down inside the 8-yard line.
Rice and Monk on a split to the right. And they keep it on down. Payton loses the football. A scramble at the 5-yard line. And the AFC is convinced that they have the football. And they do.
Schrader and Payton, of course, don't work that much in the course of the season. Schrader from Washington, Payton from the Bears. He never had control of it at all. Schrader pulling away from the center. And it looks like he places in there just perfectly, but he never did get it. And was Walter looking ahead, had that been McMahon or one of his various quarterbacks over the season, he probably would have handled it, but he never did have it. Big break for the AFC. They'll have the ball back inside their own 5-yard line, and they lead 7-0.
Steve Largent set the Pro Bowl record for most receptions in the game when he hauled in 8 passes last year. Largent also owns the career Pro Bowl reception mark with 15. Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, Lynn Swan as the football season comes to an end. In the Pro Bowl, AFC is on top by a score of 7-0, and the AFC has the football at the 5-yard line. First and 10, and Boomer Esiason, the backup quarterback, the backup for the AFC, that is, and the number 1 man in Cincinnati is in the game, and the left-handed throws on first down. Quick pass, caught, and taken out past the 30 to the 40-yard line by Stanley Morgan, the 10-year veteran of the New England Patriots, who had a tremendous season.
Did he ever? He had a great year for the Patriots. Let's take a look at it again. Esiason right off the bench from the very first play. Mickey Shula is the intended receiver, the tight end, and Morgan breaking behind him was right there, and Morgan just holds on, struggles all the way out to the 39-yard line. But it was a tremendous year for Stanley Morgan, averaging almost 18 yards of reception. As you look at it again, just a football player keeping his eyes open. And he gets the first down for the AFC at the 39.
34-yard pickup. And carrying now is Gary Anderson of San Diego for the first time. He loses the ball, but after the play had been blown dead. A gain of a couple is Lawrence Taylor. And yes, that is Lawrence Taylor. And if you're wondering about the number 54, Taylor has played in the Pro Bowl in each of his 6 seasons, but has never worn his real number, 56. The reason being, if somebody else has your number, it goes back to the seniority factor. And in this particular case, the backup center for the Rams, Doug Smith, has been in the league for 9 years, so he gets to wear 56. And Taylor, who I believe has worn 58 and 59 in previous years, is number 54 today. Esiason lofting it down the sideline and incomplete, intended for Gary Anderson, who was covered on the play by Lawrence Taylor and Ronnie Lott of the 49ers. And let's go to Lynn Swan.
Thank you, Al. I'm with Don Maynard, one of the all-time great receivers going into the Hall of Fame. Your induction seems just like it's a candle on top of a great cake.
Well, it's great to be here. It's great to be among the great players, and so many of them I admired, when I was playing, that I just feel I'm in cloud 9. I just happy as can be.
When you think back on all your years with the Giants and the Jets, what are some of your fondest memories?
Well, really, to be so fortunate to play as a rookie under Lombardi and Landry at the Giants, and then on a team with Rote and Gifford and Conley and Cannell, it was just unbelievable, and I just appreciate it so much. And then all the greater things a little bit later on with the Jets and then the Super Bowl.
Frank Gifford said upstairs just before we came on, can you believe the Giants cut Don Maynard?
Well, at the time, the second year, they did me a favor, really, made a coaching change. Lombardi went to Green Bay, and I went to Canada and kind of went on. But it was great. Thank you.
Congratulations, John.
Thank you a lot, Lynn. Appreciate it.
Al?
then you saw Manley and White sack Esiason on 3rd and long, and thus it is 4th down and 28. And the AFC to kick as Ron Stark out of Florida State, and in his 5th year with Indianapolis, kicking to Vi Sikahema, who was born in Tonga, spent a couple of years here in Hawaii, grew up in Arizona, and went to Brigham Young. And the AFC having trouble getting the right people on the field.
One of the problems, Al, you have all these stars. They don't play on special teams back home. They come here and they're on the kickoff team, they're on the punt return team, and they just forget to get out there.
And that was the reason for delay of the game, costing them 5, moving it back to the 22.
And who, me on the special teams?
Low kick. Juggled by Sikahema at the 39-yard line. Gets free and goes out of bounds at the 42 of the AFC.
That's what happens when you have stars covering the punt.
And so Vi gives him another thrill. 39-yard punt and a 20-yard return.
After having bobbled that first one, you probably just tighten up a little bit. You're being a little extra careful with it, and Sikahema finally corrals it, and some of these great stars who are not used to coming down under the punts, well, they didn't provide very good coverage. Sikahema with the first down for the NFC at the 42-yard line of the AFC. We'll be right back.
9 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the first half. The Pro Bowl in Honolulu. The 8th consecutive season this game has been played here in Honolulu. And Pete Rozelle was saying the other day, we'll keep playing this one here until you throw us out.
I don't think that's going to happen. They love it here.
First down from the 42-yard line. Trainer under pressure. Loose. Ball is alive as Joe Morris has to cover up, and Andre Tippett came in from the blind side and was able to jar it loose for a big loss as they'll spot it back at the 42-yard line.
That's the one blitz you can use, and it really isn't a blitz. It's just a standard 3-4 play. You can bring your weak side linebacker or your strong side linebacker, as you see number 55 Tippett coming in from the outside. You can bring one or the other on any down, but you can't bring both of them. You can rush basically 4 men, except on a short yardage situation. Then you can bring all the linebackers.
That was a 16-yard sack, so on 2nd and 26, Schrader, and falling down was Payton, incomplete. And let's go to Lynch.
Thank you, Al. Lawrence, congratulations on the Super Bowl. Was there any doubt in your mind that your team would win?
Well, I thought we had a pretty good team this year, and every year a team comes together and does everything right and good enough to win, and I thought that was our team this year.
The Giants have gone through a lot to get to a Super Bowl and win it. Now there's a rumor that Atlanta wants to talk to Bill Parcells about being the head coach there. What would happen to your team if he should leave?
Well, I think right now we have a lot of continuity, with the coaches and the players, and it would be a sad thing to lose Bill Parcells because he means so much to our team. And hopefully management can work something out to keep Bill with us because if we want to win, we need Bill.
Do you think Bill would like to go?
I don't think Bill wants to go leave the Giants, but, economics is something else. They offer him a lot of money, and I can understand his point of view.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, Lynn, you just saw Howie Long get credit for the sack, and so it'll be 4th down at about 35 in the NFC to kick away.
If I could just touch on that for a moment. Parcells' agent had contacted Atlanta, in my understanding, and then they contacted George Young, the general manager of the Giants, and he was not given permission to talk to George Young, or rather Bill Parcells, who has 2 more years on his contract. He called Pete Rozelle. He would not give him permission to talk to Parcells, so Atlanta will not have the opportunity to talk to Bill Parcells.
Landetta's kick is fielded by Edmonds, and he is tackled as he comes up with the ball at the 19-yard line, and the AFC will begin its next series from there. 7:31 to play in the half, with the American Conference on top, 7-0.
IBM presents You Make the Call. Steve Fuller of the Bears tosses to Walter Payton, who struggles toward the Dallas goal line. On the way, Payton's teammate William Perry attempts to carry Payton into the end zone. Now, you make the call. Is this a legal play by Payton and Perry?
I get nervous if I hear the word computer. No way I could ever use one.
That's how a lot of doctors and nurses felt about personal computers until they got one.
and two brothers who own a trucking company until they got one. We're IBM, and we've seen some very skeptical people become very enthusiastic. And that makes us proud, because we have more computers helping more small businesses than anybody. IBM personal computers. Small business is getting big on them.
What call did you make? It is never legal for a teammate to help a ball carrier by attempting to carry him forward.
It began with a plan and the determination to go for it. General Motors made a commitment to build the highest quality cars in the world. They invested in the future, and now it's paying off. Today, GM brings you the result of 5 years of single-minded, dedicated effort. A 6-year, 60,000-mile warranty that tells you each and every GM car we built today is the best quality, best value GM car ever. The vision is paying off.
Happy anniversary, Pro Bowlers Tour on ABC.
The celebration continues with the $150,000 Baker State Open, Saturday on ABC Sports.
More on Bill Parcells of the Giants. As I mentioned, he was denied permission. Atlanta was denied permission to talk with him. He has 2 more years on the contract. He was denied permission, both by George Young and the commissioner. And one would have to suspect that Bill Parcells, who grew up right next to Giants Stadium, is probably going to work himself out a brand new deal with the Giants and probably very shortly.
AFC from the 19-yard line as Esiason escapes the sack and has it intercepted at the 39-yard line by Darrell Green of Washington, and he takes it back down to the AFC 16. The NFL's fastest man picking it off and putting the NFC deep in AFC territory.
Esiason had all kinds of problems and was just able to get the ball released. Wilbur Marshall came from the outside, the Chicago Bears, great blitzing linebacker. Here's Esiason, and he's looking all the way for Schuler. There is Marshall just missing. Esiason under the pressure, puts it up and overthrows Schuler, and reading it beautifully was Darrell Green. He did not even come up as though he was going to hit Schuler. He knew he would never be able to touch the football, and the NFC gets a big break.
So Schrader and the National Conference at the AFC 17-yard line. And our first and 10, Schrader throwing. It's picked and it's picked off by Mike Haynes. And Haynes is going to come out of the end zone and is run out of bounds near the 5-yard line. So Mike Haynes returns the favor on the tip pass over the middle, in and out of the hands of Art Mudd. Haynes, his 9th Pro Bowl selection and his 8th Pro Bowl appearance, picking one off.
Off the hands of Muck, and Haynes wasn't quite sure whether his momentum had carried him into the end zone or not, whether he was going to be safety bait there. He hesitated for a moment, thought about staying in there, and decided, well, why risk it? I'll get it out of here. And that's exactly what he did. And one of the great defensive backs ever to play this game. As Al mentioned, 9 times he's been around this Pro Bowl. So many times as a New England Patriot.
Now of the Raiders, Haynes has given the AFC the ball back, and from the 9-yard line, straight through the middle goes Ernest Jackson, who's an interesting story. 2 years at San Diego, then traded to Philadelphia, spent a year there, then cut by Buddy Ryan in training camp this year, and that elicited the great Ryan quote when somebody said, how do you cut a guy who's gained 1,000 yards? Buddy said, yeah, on 1,000 carries. So he was out of work for a while, and then Pittsburgh had some problems with Pollard and Abercrombie coming back from injuries. He winds up with the Steelers and winds up in the Pro Bowl as an alternate.
And almost 1,000 yards with the Steelers after getting in very late.
Second and a long 3. And it's Gary Anderson, and the Charger takes the ball out to the 16-yard line, where he's stopped by the Bears' Mike Singletary. And let's go to Lynn again.
Mike, you saved your team down there.
Well, you know, sometimes they put us cornerbacks in those situations.
But you love it, don't you?
No, I wouldn't have it any other way.
Now listen, I got to get in your case a little bit. How come you didn't stay in the end zone? You've been in this league too long.
Well, then, you know, the new rules are if your momentum is going into the end zone, you know, it's okay. You can stop, you know, and they'll bring it out to 20. But I wasn't sure how we were going to rule it. I didn't want to get caught with our team having to give up the safety right there, so I brought it out.
Michael, you sure you didn't see a touchdown somewhere?
Heck no, not 101 yards.
Okay, thank you.
On 3rd and 2, it is Esiason who runs for a first down, taking a page out of the Elway book, and out to the 26-yard line for a first down for the AFC.
It looks like a truck compared to a sports car when you compare him with Elway, but he does do this very well. He has a great slider back there. He always seems like he's in trouble. We saw him a few moments ago, even though he threw an interception. He got away from blitzing Wilbur Marshall. That time he gets the first down. He just moves around. And often he doesn't look all that graceful in doing it, but he seems to be able to break the tackle, get the pass off, or get the run for the first down, as he just did there.
American Conference at the 26-yard line. And Anderson, the versatile one, who takes it out to the 34-yard line for a gain of 8, has set up a second down and 2 for the AFC.
Here's a great athlete, 80 receptions for the San Diego Chargers, 440-plus yards rushing. As we look at Joe Gibbs, who used to coach at the San Diego Chargers, he was the offensive coordinator before he took over the Redskins job. But Gary Anderson is much like the former San Diego Charger, and that would be James Brooks. They do the same thing. So great receivers out of the backfield and fine running backs.
Second and 2 from the 34, and that play is dead before the snap.
This you see once in a while. Here's the call.
Start number 65, offense, still second down.
The counts of the quarterbacks from the different teams are so different. Elway has a different count than Esiason, and you get out there in the heat of the battle, and all of a sudden you're not getting what you're used to. And there's no rhythm to it because these players have come from all different teams. They have a different beat, a different tempo, and you get plays like that even by the best that play this game.
AFC has now been penalized 4 times. The NFC has not been penalized. AFC on top, though. 7-0, 4:25 to play in the half. And it's second down and 7. Esiason escapes, throws off balance, and incomplete. He was wrapped up and went down back to the 17-yard line in the arms of Reggie White of the Eagles. And in fact, they are going to say he was in the grasp.
Number 92 of the Philadelphia Eagles, Reggie White, in there on Esiason. He definitely was in the grasp, and the whistle had even blown, so they'll mark it there. Reggie White is one of many of these all-stars, these Pro Bowlers, who this past week, even though they're here with families and having a great time, they took the time off to visit the Children's Hospital here in Honolulu. You know, you don't hear that much about these kinds of things, but at halftime we're going to see the Man of the Year awarded, and that's not only for playing this game, but also for service to the community. But Reggie and a lot of these players found time this week to visit the kids up at the Children's Hospital.
3rd and 18, and again the pressure, and Manley gets it, and
they won't go.
It is not a safety, though, because they say that the sack was recorded just outside the goal line. So even though Manley was there, and Gray is going to plead the case with Jorgensen, they will still maintain possession of the ball inside the 1.
Manley is so quick to the outside with this pass rush. He draws a lot of offsides penalty because he's so quick getting to the outside. They see him coming. No one even got a hand on him. And there he has Esiason, well, right where the official says that he had Esiason. And they mark it inside the 1-yard line, but the NFC should get it back in great field position thanks to another fine effort by Dexter Manley.
So a tough job here for Stark. On the short snap, he's 10 yards away from the second. It is 4th down and 36. And he gets it away, and it's a good kick, and it backs Sikahema up to the 49-yard line, and he drops it again. The ball is still loose at the 43, and the AFC gets it back.
It's your all-pro punt return man. Sikahema, who has now turned it over twice and bobbled the ball on 3 occasions. Had a great record this year with the Cardinals, averaging over 12 yards of return, had a touchdown return, whether it's concentration or just thinking back to that first one that he's out, or maybe the fact that he's from the area trying too hard, who knows, but it, you know, you feel for it. They went right through his hands, and all year long he handles the punts for the Cardinals, did it in all-pro fashion, and now 3 of them have gotten away from him.
And it's tough here with the swirling winds, and the stadium is open in the corners, and you can see the ball fluttering back and forth. But it's been an embarrassing day thus far for Sikahema. Brooks for a gain of 3. Embarrassing in the sense your peers, your colleagues vote you to a spot. You're a specialist, and the next thing you know, you have 3 fumbles and a half.
First time you come up, they give you a little pat on the fanny. The second time, they say, well, it'll be better. They probably didn't even talk to him this time. Yeah, third time, they want to know what you're doing here. 2:48 to go in the half. AFC on top by a score of 7-0. 2nd and 7 from the 47. Esiason, a Bengal left-hander, throws it out of bounds. Anderson was the intended receiver. He was covered. And it'll be 3rd down. Joe Gibbs coaching the NFC and Marty Schottenheimer the AFC. How are the coaching staff selected? Well, it's the coaching staff of the team that loses the conference championship game. So Washington knocked off by the Giants and Cleveland knocked off by Denver.
Take a look at the pass rush. Number 92 is Reggie White working against Chris Hinton. And Hinton, of course, from the Colts. Reggie White getting the best of that, forcing Esiason to throw it before he wanted to throw the ball.
3rd down and 7 from the AFC's 47-yard line. Draw play is Ernest Jackson, and he takes it down to the NFC's 45 and should have a 1st down as Dave Duerson comes up to make the tackle, the Bear safety.
I wonder if Buddy Ryan wouldn't have loved to have had him back after the kind of season he had with the Steelers after he left the Philadelphia Eagles. And all the problems that Buddy had with his running backs.
Again, Ernest Jackson is here, and so is Sammy Winder as backup backs because of the absence of Warner with the flu and Marcus Allen with the ankle injury. And we have come down to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to go in the half in the Pro Bowl, where the AFC leads the NFC 7-0. Al Michaels, Frank Gifford, and Lynn Swann at the Pro Bowl in Honolulu on a gorgeous day with a temperature in the low 80s. And a sellout crowd, 50,000. Watching the AFC on top by a score of 7-0, and the AFC has the ball with 2 minutes to play in the half. At the NFC 45-yard line, Boomer Esiason is the quarterback. Fakes to Anderson, and Esiason to run and gets out of bounds. Harry Carson was there to make sure he stepped out at the 41-yard line. NFC has turned the ball over 4 times. Sikahema twice on returns. And one of the turnovers setting up the only score in the game, and that was a pass to Todd Christensen, who was able to stretch his way into the end zone to put the American Conference on top on the final play of the 1st quarter. And Swann talking to those who have just been voted into the Hall of Fame, and we'll have another visit coming up shortly. 2nd down and 7. Larkin had it right in his hands, and how often do you see that? Just about never. Maybe it's the left-handed spin.
Man does not drop many. Holds the Pro Bowl record for receptions in a single game. Let's go down now to Lynn Swann with a couple of new Hall of Famers.
Thank you, Al. I'm with 2 obviously great ball players, the Miami Dolphins, Jim Langer and Larry Zonka. Zonk, great days in Miami.
We had a few. This kind of tops off the career, tops off all the things we did in Miami. I was a little disappointed last year when I didn't make it to the final round and didn't make it, but this year is twice as good because we've got Jim with me, so 2 of us.
How do you deal with that disappointment?
Well, it's tough. I compare it to like losing the Super Bowl the first year we're in it. You get so close, but the agony of defeat hangs with you till the next year.
Jim, you go in on your first ballot. That must feel really good for you.
Well, it was a total surprise, Lynn, and as Larry said, we've got 2 players now that came off of that 17-0 season, and it's just a tremendous thrill. It's going to take a while to sink in, I'm sure.
When you're out there making all those blocks and Larry was running through you and over you at times, did you think ever that you two would be going in the same year?
He was never a running back. He was a guard, and we just gave him the football. He was a real key to that football team. He was always in the huddle. He played every play, and he was a real inspiration.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, Lynn, the AFC with a 4th down. The NFC has just taken a timeout as the AFC will be forced to punt, and the National Conference will get the ball back. We have a minute and a half to play in the first half. A minute and a half to play in the first half in Honolulu, where the AFC leads the NFC 7-0 in the Pro Bowl.
Interesting call here on 4th down and about 5 along 5. The AFC short of the NFC's 40-yard line. Apparently are going to go for it.
And a spread formation with 4 wide receivers, and Esiason goes back to pass. Lost one. Has a man open. Complete at the 20-yard line to Mickey Schuler of the Jets. And the tight end has a first down at the 17-yard line. And the AFC going for it. And it pays off. And they keep the ball and have a first down at the 17.
Mickey Schuler had another great season for the Jets, even though they struggled so much in that second half after losing their entire defensive line. Mike Schuler now, he puts a little fake here, breaking it back to the inside, a little fake lateral, throws Freddie Young for just a second, and he gets the first down, and also a first down around the 17-yard line. And you can do that in this game. Take sort of a calculated risk because you don't have to read about it or hear about it when you go home. It's not going to affect you 5 weeks from now in the playoffs, but also your passing game is so effective. They brought in an additional wide receiver that time, and they knew they were not going to get any exotic type of defense. They had a couple of men that were open, and this is kind of the thing that you can get away with in the Pro Bowl.
Sure, because a couple of years from now, you'll walk down the street and somebody will say, what happened in the Pro Bowl in 1986?
There'll be no chance anyone will remember.
Huh? Okay.
One thing is that, I said at the very outset, when you get down to the end of the third quarter and it's close, and that's when things start to tighten up a little bit. $5,000 per man, that's about, I don't know what, about a $250,000 swing. And you start dividing it up.
But what is it after tax?
Yeah, well, trying to tell your wife that too. You might be planning a trip to Florida.
First down, AFC after they take a timeout. American Conference at the 17-yard line. Inside handoff goes to Ernest Jackson, and he takes the ball down to the 9-yard line for a gain of 8. It'll be 2nd and 2 for the AFC. Clock is running. We're down to a minute 5.
No huddle offense. Now, this is rather sophisticated. Consider they've only worked about 6 days together. They've got an offense. They have 2 plays called in the huddle.
Esiason for Jackson, incomplete.
Esiason looked for Toon. Toon was well covered in the end zone. He pops it out to the back, the checkoff back. He, too, was well covered by Freddie Young. That stops the clock with 54 seconds.
And makes it 3rd down, 3rd and 2 with the ball at the 9-yard line.
A couple of timeouts for each team remaining.
AFC on top. Again, the NFC, since the Pro Bowl moved here in 1980, has won 5 of 7. They routed the AFC rep in the last 3 Super Bowls. And figured to have more quality and more depth coming into that. As Ernest Jackson on 3rd and 2 goes nowhere. And so it's 4th and 2 as Mike Singletary gets credit for the tackle.
AFC will call timeout now. They are down to 1 timeout. I think Esiason wants to go over and talk it over with Marty Schottenheimer. Do we want to go on 4th down again, 4th down and 3, or do we trot out Tony Franklin and take an almost sure 3 points? And that's the decision that will be reached over the sidelines by Marty Schottenheimer, then finally the offensive coordinator. They went 4th and 5 a while ago.
Franklin's coming in.
Tony is so happy to be here. I had a chance to talk to him this week. He's been around quite a while. 8 years, started in Philadelphia, but had never made a Pro Bowl and had some great years. Had a tremendous year this season for New England, led the league in scoring, 32 of 41. And he's just like a kid in a candy shop running around, meeting all the players that he's heard about over the years. Started out in Philadelphia. Tony Franklin.
Next week, ABC's college basketball, Digger Phelps will take his Fighting Irish into Lawrence, Kansas. And you'll see Larry Brown's Jayhawks, Danny Manning, the star at Kansas. It's Kansas and Notre Dame at 2 Eastern time. 26-yard field goal attempt from the 16-yard line. Stark, the Indianapolis punter, will hold for Franklin, coming off his best season. And the New England place kicker boots it through with 45 seconds to play in the first half, and the AFC is on top by a score of 10-0. So Franklin playing in his first Pro Bowl. There are 38 players playing in their first Pro Bowl. 38 of the 84, each squad with 42 men. So a very high number of what you call Pro Bowl rookies, including all of the quarterbacks. None of the quarterbacks playing today. Kramer and Schrader for the NFC, and Elway and Esiason for the AFC has played in the Pro Bowl game before.
And the changing of the guard around the National Football League in terms of quarterbacks. Those quarterbacks that all came up in '81, they're all floating around out there with Pro Bowl potential. Just think of Elway and then Marino, that couldn't be here because of, quote, knee surgery, unquote, which will be coming up a little later, I guess, after he gets through playing in Pebble.
Dan's pulling a Tarkenton act here. What was it? Fran was voted to the AFC NFC Pro Bowl 4 times, made 1 appearance. And those are Marino's numbers.
There were a lot of no-shows, as you mentioned earlier, Al, in the old days when they played at first in Los Angeles. It wasn't a whole lot of fun after a long season to go there. Then they tried it in Kansas City, and almost nobody came. So then they decided we better make it a little more attractive, and they brought it here. Now they all come.
Nothing against Kansas City, but Kansas City in January when you have an opt-out.
Players outnumber the fans the one year they tried it there.
A 6-yard line by Sickahella. Takes it out to the 17-yard line. He loses the football again, but it was downed and dead. And fortunately for Sickahella, the NFC still has possession.
He's having a nightmare. And he's living it and playing it right here. If it happens that way, you start to tighten up. You fouled the ball 3 times on punts. Now he's starting to think about nothing but that. And he's a great return man. Great numbers, at least, coming in to today's game.
Coming up next Saturday on Wide World of Sports, you'll see Debbie Thomas in action trying to defend her title at the U.S. National Figure Skating Championships. Live coverage of ladies competition from there, the World Alpine Skiing Championships, and an America's Cup report from Fremantle next Saturday, 3 Eastern and Pacific, 2 Central on Wide World. Schrader going deep for Monk, incomplete. Covering on the play was Duron Cherry of Kansas City, knocking it down, and it'll be 2nd down, back at the 17, 2nd and 10. 31 seconds remaining now in the first half.
Halftime, we're going to be updating those Alpine World Skiing Championships from Switzerland, where the Swiss are doing awfully well, and also the America's Cup. Jack Whitaker will be reporting. We have taken a 2-0 lead, Stars and Stripes, over Kookaburra 3 of Australia. Dennis Conner, skipper, has got to be very happy with where he sits. He beat him on a flat sea, and he beat him on a heavy sea yesterday.
Trying to withstand a protest as well. And Whitaker will update us, along with the game from Australia at the half on 2nd and 10. Schrader throws incomplete and nearly picked off. Favaro, the intended receiver, and the Steeler linebacker, Mike Merriweather, almost picked it off and might have gone into the score had he.
Would have been a walk-in. His eyeballs were clicking like a pinball machine with 6 points. Merriweather, who is such an active linebacker, not a big linebacker for the Steelers, only goes about 215. But he moves around and gets about as much as you can get out of 215 pounds as any football player I've ever seen.
3rd down and 10 for the NFC from the 17-yard line. Kramer played the first quarter. Schrader has played the second. He has Rice and Monk split, and he has to take a timeout.
He was running out of time. His 30-second clock. He looked up, and it was down to about 2. He didn't like what was set up, so he used one of his 2 remaining timeouts. And get into these positions, then I talked about the numerical way they call the play, and they use a lot of verbiage, if you will, to designate the different plays, because sometimes you have a player from different teams where the 5-hole will be on the right side, the 5-hole will be on the left side with another team, and you try to put it all together in a week, and it can really get confusing. And that's why they limit the defense as to what they can do, because they can totally befuddle an offense that you have to put together in just a matter of 4 or 5 days.
And you don't want to make it too complex. The guys come out here and work out for about an hour and a half in the morning during the week prior to the Pro Bowl, maybe from 10 to 11:15, 11:30, and then just enjoy Hawaii the rest of the day and night.
People here in Hawaii love this game. They get into it. Al and I were out here, about 8 o'clock this morning, and there were thousands of campers and pickup trucks. They were barbecuing, they're roasting pork. You could smell it from miles all around. They really get into it.
Pipikala, Manapua.
Well, that's a local talking.
Hey, you're right.
The first half is almost power.
A PAU, isn't it?
Yep, PAU. I'm proud of you.
I'm working on it. I've been coming here for about 25 years.
I'll take that at halftime for some koi, P-O-I.
Is it likey-likey or leaky-leaky?
On third down and 10, Dickerson takes it out to the 20-yard line. And timeout is called now by the AFC because they'll get the ball back. So they take a timeout and look at the ball back with 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Want to correct the graphic we had for you that said Wide World was 3 o'clock next week. It's 4:30. 4:30 Eastern and Pacific for the figure skating and skiing and America's Cup report.
Be rejoining my colleague, Becky Dixon. Joe Gibbs, offensive coordinator with San Diego Chargers under Don Coryell before he took the job with the Redskins 6 years ago, where he's done a tremendous job. And prior to that, he was with the St. Louis Cardinals under Don Coryell. Marty Schottenheimer actually comes from the other side of the field, basically a defensive-oriented coach, and a good one. He used to be with the Giants, Marty Schottenheimer, then went to Detroit before he joined Cleveland and took over the head coaching job mid-season a couple of years ago.
Landed a kick. One of 8 Giants in the game. Bobby Joe Edmonds of Seattle back to receive. Low kick. Edmonds from the 44 takes it back to midfield, and the clock is stopped now with 12 seconds remaining in the first half. AFC is on top by a score of 10-0.
Decision time here for the AFC now. If they can get about 15 yards on a pickup, stop the clock, and they are out of timeout, so they can do it only one way, and that is to get it out of bounds. They could use Tony Franklin for a field goal, or do you take a shot at a big one, try and take it in all the way, and knowing that if you stay in bounds, you probably will not get a play off again.
First and 10 for the Esiason. Sending 3 men wide and stepping up and throwing complete at the 31-yard line to Stanley Morgan.
Just what they wanted to do.
Perfect. Morgan made the Pro Bowl in 80 and 81, and it's been a drought for him in terms of being named to the Pro Bowl, but here he is again at 87.
Great concentration. First of all, a difficult catch, and he kept his eyes on the football, got him down. He knew exactly where he was able to get his feet inbounds, both of them, and now they will have the field goal opportunity, and a good one for Tony Franklin, who's coming off a superb year, as I mentioned a moment ago.
So Morgan setting it up for his teammate, Franklin. The ball will be spotted at the 38-yard line, a 48-yard attempt, and this would equal the longest field goal in the history of the AFC-NFC Pro Bowl by Don Steenwood in 72. But Jan's mark is safe because the kick was blocked. Blocked by Wilbur Marshall, who got a hand on it. And that will end the first half. And so the first half is over at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu in the Pro Bowl. The AFC on top by a score of 10-0. And ABC's Wide World of Sports will return in 6 weeks. The regular season ending the weekend of December 21st. So a lot of these guys have not been in uniform or having contact for 42 days.
A lot of tight muscles down there, particularly on the part of Ernest Jackson, who filled in for Kurt Warner, who did not come because of flu. Sammy Winder filled in for Marcus Allen. Allen because of an ankle problem, but they have not worked that much. Winder, of course, with the Broncos in pretty good shape, but Ernest Jackson, he's been off a long time.
AFC with a big edge in total yardage, but the key turnovers. NFC has given the ball up 4 times. And the AFC has been able to capitalize, and they lead by a score of 10-0. The fact that you haven't played in 6 weeks, I suppose that would be a good excuse for Sikahema to use when they question him after the game.
He's going to be looking for one.
Yeah.
It is kind of self-generating when things go wrong early in the game, and particularly for a young player like Sikahema, who had a tremendous season with the Cardinals returning punts and kickoffs. He dropped that first one, and from there on, it was downhill. I'm sure he just kept thinking about it, and it's a swirling wind in this stadium, and it does a lot of tricks with the football. So it's just full concentration, and it's, again, the kind of a game that will hang on turnovers. And it's also a game where I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the telecast, if it's anywhere close when you get down towards the end of the third quarter, well, that $5,000 extra per man starts to
really come into play. They start to think about it. And collectively for a team, that's right up there around $250,000. And it can make a difference.
10-0, AFC on top, and the AFC will get the ball. And Morton Anderson, the NFC place kicker from the New Orleans Saints, sees his first action of the day as he kicks off to start the third quarter. Fielded at the goal line by Bobby Joe Edmonds, and the rookie out of Arkansas, who plays with the Seattle Seahawks, takes the ball back to the 16-yard line. 1st and 10 for the AFC. The AFC went with John Elway in the first quarter, and then Boomer Esiason in the second, and Marty Schottenheimer said it would probably be Elway, and it is in the third. And then he said in the fourth he'll go with whoever has the hot hand.
Taking nothing away from Boomer Esiason, I guess I am too. John Elway is the kind of player that can perform so well in a game like this. He is such a good athlete. If things break down, and they do break down because you have all kinds of players playing from different teams with different verbiage and all that, he's the kind of player that can take a broken play and turn it into a big one.
They stay on the ground as we start the third period, and he gives off to Sammy Winder, his teammate. Winder's coming off a Super Bowl game in which his net yardage was 0, and not much here either. It's second down.
Net yardage in the second half was 0. Amazing job defensively by the Giants. Because meanwhile, Phil Simms played the absolute perfect game for the Giants. Mind if I do a little promo, do you, Al? They were superb.
Second down and 9 from the 17-yard line. Elway scrambles, and it's incomplete at the 32, intended for Todd Christensen. A little bit behind them, and it's third down. You were talking about the Giant coaching situation and discussing the Parcells case before, Frank. So when do the rumors begin to fly that you'll be the next coach of the Atlanta Falcons? I mean, somebody's got to take the job, right?
Getting a little embarrassing for us, isn't it? They've tried 3 times, and whoever initiated those talks, they got a little out of line because I think, number one, they weren't about to let the Atlanta Falcons talk with Bill Parcells, and the commissioner made sure they didn't talk to him, so that was all over.
And the Falcons still don't have a coach. On 3rd and 9, there's a penalty flag down. And the pass is caught out at the 30-yard line and dragged down as Mark Payton of the Dolphins. The play is dead. The play is dead when he went down on a tackle by Jerry Gray. And also there's a flag at the line of scrimmage which may negate the whole thing because it appeared that the AFC may have jumped.
An interesting call. NFC was offsides also, but were they drawn off?
Offsides, number 76, defense. Illegal motion, number 83, offense. Penalties offset, third down.
We've heard that before.
After all that. So offsetting penalties. And it's third down and 9.
Once again, just briefly, defense is restricted to either zone coverage and a strong side roll. That means you have to roll to the side where the tight end is, or you can go man-to-man with the free safety in the middle. You can blitz one linebacker, the outside linebacker, either strong or weak, and that's it, except on short yardage, and then you can bring everybody. Offense can use no motion, no shifting of the line.
It would have been a 24-yard gain, instead third down and 9. Elway dropped at the 6-yard line. Reggie White of Philadelphia in on another sack, and Dexter Manley was also in the area.
They combined for over 36 sacks. Reggie White and Dexter Manley on the season. They are so quick, particularly Manley. And Elway doesn't get away from it. You know they've handled it just perfectly. They came from either side. He had nothing, had absolutely nothing he could do.
Ron Stark of the Colts standing in the end zone by Sikahema at the 50
with his heart in his throat. Beautiful.
And Sikahema follows him again. That's become automatic.
Oh, what a thrill he put in the punting game.
Check those ballots.
He's shaking his head. He can't believe it. He's a local.
Yep.
Getting a smattering of boos, but that's ridiculous. Snake bit. There it is. Rather than catching it in the hands as he ordinarily does, he's really tightened up. You don't catch a ball if you're a punt return man in your chest, off your shoulders, you're going to lose it every time. That's 3 now for Sukahime, even though he's able to cover this one. Catch it in your fingers, so if you do drop it, it's going to drop straight down.
For what it's worth, it ties a Pro Bowl record, 3 fumbles in a game. Dan Fouts fumbled 3 times in 1982.
And he's got a lot of time to go.
So the NFC at its own 44-yard line, 1st and 10. And Tommy Kramer, who was the starting quarterback, is back in there to start the 3rd period. Kramer dumps it off for Payton. And Walter is spun down at the 49 of the AFC by John Offerdahl, the rookie of the Miami Dolphins. And let's get another word from Lynn Swan. Lynn.
I said I was going to get a hula lessons. 2 of the best instructors with me right here. What's your name?
Laurie.
How long have you been doing the hula?
5 years.
And your name?
Becky.
How long have you been doing the hula?
6.
Okay, now most people think the hula is just done with the hips, right? Just going like this. But the hula is more. You tell a message with your hands. And so here goes our special message. Here we go. Welcome to Hawaii, Frank and Al. Now, how's that for a hula lesson?
Give us a break, Lynn. Don't get yourself a hula pie, Lynn. Thank you, kids.
Last time I saw him was the Pittsburgh Ballet.
Meanwhile, Payton with a little dance step for a 1st down, and Walter, now the all-time leading rusher in the annals of the AFC, NFC Pro Bowl.
What isn't he the all-time leader of when it comes to running the football?
Fumbles.
He hasn't made that yet?
Don't think so.
It's amazing. His 12th year and going strong.
Got to get Steve Hurt to check that out. All-time leader in fumbles. At the 40-yard line, 1st and 10. And Joe Morris, who's been pretty quiet today, gets his opportunity to shine with an 8-yard gain through the middle. That's his first carry of the afternoon.
Another one of the players had to give in to seniority. Durson of the Bears has played longer than Joe Morris, who ordinarily wears 22. For the Giants, he had to settle for a 20.
Second down and 2 at the AFC 32. 10:50 to play, 3rd period. AFC leads 10-0. And Morris picking up the 1st down as he takes the ball out of the 28-yard line. 1st and 10 for the NFC. Breezy and again warm. And on a hot day, it really begins to take its toll because it's prime time as far as sunshine just about now. 10 after 1, as hot as it gets. Kramer on 1st down, throws complete. Gary Clark, the Washington Redskin wide receiver, the 5'9", 173-pounder in his 2nd year out of James Madison, coming off a terrific year.
Fine shot by Tommy Kramer to get it in there. Was Bobble pulling away from the center, but Kramer is one of those great streak players, and when he gets hot, he stays hot for a long period of time, and he had a hot season for the Minnesota Vikings this year. They were 9-7, but he stayed healthy. That has been his problem over the years, but he did have a great season.
2nd and 2, ball at the 20-yard line. Payton again, and he has the 1st down as he rolls his way down to the 16-yard line, and Carl Mecklenburg of the Broncos makes the tackle. And so the NFC down 10-0, but on the move at the AFC 16-yard line. Walter Payton, Pro Bowl number 9, all-time leading rusher by a mile, and probably 2, 3, maybe 4 more years to go for the great one.
Stays in such fabulous condition. He works probably harder than any other player that I know. And still, 12 years in the league and still giving you that all effort.
Walters on the delay, cuts back, but gets nowhere. And his ridden down back of the line of scrimmage by John Offerdahl, the Miami linebacker. The Miami defense so porous this year, but Offerdahl was the highlight of an otherwise bad year for Miami on the other side of the football. A second-round draft choice was Offerdahl out of Western Michigan, and the only rookie to start in the Pro Bowl this year.
There goes another record, huh? I kept telling OJ that all disappear one time or another, and Joe Morris, what a fabulous 2 years he's had. He had over 1,300 yards a year ago, and this season came back, and only Eric Dickerson had more yardage than Morris. Over 1,500 yards this past season for him, and Bill Parcells got him, what was it, 3 years ago now? We were talking to him earlier about the way he worked him. He was afraid he couldn't stand up to carry the ball 18, 20, 25 times a game. And maybe that's true. He needed about 30 times a game.
Meanwhile, hello, Gunnison. 5 below.
Great scheme right here by Dusty Beard, I'll tell you that.
3rd and 11 from the 16-yard line. And were they drawn off or not is the question. And so we'll get the call from Dick Jorgensen. All right, Dick. Who goofed? We have to know.
Number 74, offense. Still 3rd down.
And that'll bring it back to the 21-yard line.
Kramer with a veritable plethora of talent. As he looks over his receivers, he's got them all out there. Jerry Rice. Clark is out there of the Redskins, who has the great moves, particularly down in close. He loves to run a slant pattern. And, of course, he has his own tight end, Steve Jordan, in there, number 83.
First penalty against the NFC. 3rd down, 16, with the ball at the 21-yard line. And the AFC jumping again. Flags go down. This could be a free play for Kramer, who throws and has it tipped away, incomplete in the end zone. Jerry Rice, the intended receiver.
Gary Clark right in the pattern, too, and it was a free play because Kramer knew it was going to go against the AFC.
Jorgensen starts the signal and then does a hold and offside, so offsetting again here.
Holding, number 60, offense, offside, number 64, defense, penalties offset, still 3rd down.
Hara of the Rams, Moss of the Chiefs. And still 3rd and 16 with the ball at the 21-yard line.
Interesting change. Out comes a wide receiver to bring in Gerald Riggs, running back from Atlanta. NFC.
Keep him in the block. Keep him in there with Dickerson. 2 big backs. Again, they're minus Mike Quick, so they're minus 1 of the available wide receivers. And again, there's contact up front. And Kramer goes down to the 35 as the AFC jumped in ahead of the snap again. We'll see if they were drawn, as the quality of play begins to deteriorate here in the 3rd quarter.
Jacob Green had moved off sides. Hobart, the offensive tackle, had a finger on him all the way, and it will work against the AFC, and it'll shorten up considerably the yardage needed on the 3rd and long.
Offsides, defense, still 3rd down.
A group effort.
Take a quick look at it, right in the middle. Moved by
Howie Long.
And out comes the blocking back, Gerald Riggs, and Gary Clark comes back in. So the NFC is back with the basic pro set, the 2 wide receivers, and the tight end, Steve Jordan.
3rd and 11, NFC at the 16-yard line. AFC nearly jumped again for Rice, out of bounds. Kane staying with him. And it'll be 4th down. A little wrestling match going on in the line of scrimmage. Bill Fralick getting involved with Howie Long. Just a little hugging, I'm sure.
Get to know each other very well over here. They usually meet here at Aloha Stadium, and one team will practice here at Aloha Stadium, and the other team will go to the University of Hawaii, and they kibitz a lot. A lot of great friendships have grown out of these all-star games over the years.
Morton Anderson from the New Orleans Saints to attempt a 33-yard field goal.
Here we go again, huh? Got a record consecutive string going.
It's 4 of the last 5 plays, and they were close on the other.
False start on the center, number 63. Still 4th down.
Jay Hilgenberg.
Anderson, like his counterpart with the AFC, Tony Franklin, had a superb year. He was 26 of 30.
A swirling wind here to deal with. 38 yards now. Spotted down by Schrader at the 28-yard line. And the kick is good. Morton Anderson puts the NFC on the scoreboard with 7 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. And the AFC on top, 10-3 in the Pro Bowl.
Okay, but why Tandy computers? In a word, quality. We do it all, from custom-designed semiconductors to the finished product. Tandy did.
In the 1985 Pro Bowl, Mark Gastineau was selected player of the game, recording 4 quarterback sacks as the AFC won 22-14. Both teams combined for a Pro Bowl record 17 sacks. At the Pro Bowl, Al Michaels with Frank Gifford and Lynn Swan. The AFC leads the NFC 10-3. 7 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. And Morton Anderson, who just kicked a 38-yard field goal to kick off for the NFC, and a good one. And it's Bobby Joe Edmonds of the Seahawks from 4 yards in the end zone. Brings it back out to the 13-yard line. And John Elway will lead the offensive unit now to a 1st and 10 at the 13.
Good tackle by Durison of the Bears. What another great season he had a couple of years ago. Todd Bell was a holdout. Dave Durison inherited the job. He promptly went to the Pro Bowl last year. And he's back again with even a better season for those Bears.
Now Toon and Steve Largent are the wide receivers. Toon swings it out to Winder. A lot of room for Sammy to the 30 and out of bounds at the 34-yard line. So Elway goes to his teammate, Sammy Winder, in his 5th year in the league and his 2nd Pro Bowl.
There's a defense totally blown, and Elway reads it very quickly. Looks over there, and he sees no one even close to Winder. And whether it was Browner responsibility or a linebacker who just didn't get there, it's hard to tell. But somebody blew it, and Winder gets out for the 1st down near the 35.
1st and 10 for the AFC, 7:20 to go in the 3rd. 21-yard pickup on the Elway to Winder pass. Elway escapes the sack and then throws it out of bounds. 2nd and 10. And let's get a word from Linegan.
Well, Al, we've been talking about the weather all afternoon and how hot it is here. There are a couple of fans here up in the stands who don't care how hot it is because they're from Minnesota. How do you deal with all this hot weather?
We just go down to the beach, lay there in the breeze, and think about those people back in Minnesota that are freezing in the snow. This is great.
Do you feel sorry for any of them?
No, not a bit.
How do you deal with the heat when you're watching the football game this afternoon?
Just have a couple cool ones.
Any message for the folks back home?
Hi, overlady. Yeah. You guys should be here. It's great.
Well, a lot of people should be here, but only a few can make it, Frank. Al?
Find somebody from Gunnison, Swanee.
They might all come.
Yeah. 3rd down and 11. AFC in its own 34-yard line. This is the type of day the Chamber of Commerce loves, of course. A few thousand extra plane tickets are sold. 3rd and 11 from the 34. And it's Sammy Winder through the middle out to the 42-yard line. So 4th down. And the punting unit coming in for the American Conference. Aloha Stadium, site for the 8th consecutive year of the Pro Bowl. And the 7th sellout.
2 more years here. 2 more years on the contract. And as you mentioned earlier, P. Rozelle said we're going to keep it here until we get kicked out. And I think that'll be a long way down the road.
Ron starts to punt. And let's see about Sikahema again. And he makes the catch at the 15-yard line. And he's going to make up for past transgressions with a nice run back to the 44-yard line.
He'll hear it. The throw was right here, and he handled it beautifully. He caught it with his hands, found a little opening. They had a picket line working out to his right. He saw an opening, split the gap, and takes it all the way out to the 44-yard line and gets a rousing ovation for his efforts.
National Crown live, plus women's slalom greats and an America's Cup report on ABC's Wide World of Sports Saturday.
NFC has the ball at its own 44-yard line with 5 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the 3rd quarter. The AFC in white on top, 10-3. 17th AFC-NFC Pro Bowl. NFC has won 10 of the prior 16. Tommy Kramer of the Vikings backs the throw and gets it into Bavaro for a first down at the 45-yard line. In traffic where he normally is, but sure-handed. And Bavaro has a first down at the AFC 45.
And it was sure-handed, too. He was being harassed by the defense. Kramer wanted to go deep. Checked off right here to Bavaro. He concentrates, bobbles the ball, and then holds on to it. And then, Al, I don't think I'll ever forget what he did against the 49ers when they were down 17-0 at that time. They came back in the second half to win it. He works better against defensive backs than anyone I've ever seen.
And he dragged past that defensive unit about 20 yards on one play. This is Gerald Riggs taking it to the 39-yard line. We were talking about that Atlanta coaching situation. Riggs would like to know who the next Falcon coach will be. Of course, they offered the job to Dick Vermeil, and he declined. And then Terry Donahue had a chance, and he declined. And the speculation started when Jerry Venisi was fired at Chicago that the Falcons might want to come after Ditka. Then the Parcells situation this week. Who next, Frank?
Well, they're getting a little paranoid down there.
Yeah.
Nobody wants it.
It'll be a great press conference when somebody finally accepts. What does it feel like to be the 67th choice? From the 39, Eric Dickerson takes it to the 38-yard line. Maybe they should hire Lee Grosstubb. What do you think?
Is he available?
Yeah. Teach him the shovel pass. He's definitely available.
You mean he's not all tied up?
Right. Third and 2.
What a long year it's been. Rams, of course, in the playoffs with the wild card. All the way to July, these players have been working.
Third and 2, and Ron Wolfley is in the game as a blocking back. The Cardinals special teamer, and he leads the way for Dickerson. And Eric picks up the first down at the 33-yard line. So the NFC moving after they were blanked in the first half. A Morton Anderson field goal puts them on the board in the 3rd quarter. And now they have a 1st and 10 at the AFC 33-yard line with 3 minutes, 5 seconds remaining in the 3rd period.
Joe Gibbs changing a lot of his personnel. Very warm here, 86 degrees. Joe Morris is back in, wearing the right number, I might add. He's wearing 20. Out of 22.
Riggs is out of bounds at the 15. First down. pickup. Michael Gantos is that young man's name, who is the official mascot, they tell us. 9-year-old from Shaker Heights, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland. Winning the contest and named the official mascot of the AFC-NFC Pro Bowl.
What a thrill that has to be now on the field with these players.
First and 10 from the 15-yard line, and Riggs takes it inside the 10 to the 8, where it'll be 2nd and 3.
Riggs, another great year. He's such a power runner. 1,300-plus yards this year. Just missed the NFL rushing title a year ago, losing out to Marcus Allen by just a few yards when he gained over 1,700 yards, but a powerful runner he is.
2nd and 3, ball at the 8. And they call his number again, and Riggs takes it to about the 5-yard line, and Jorgensen signals first down for the NFC. If you're wondering, yep, they do play sudden death overtime in the Pro Bowl, since the score right now is 10 to 3 as we approach the end of the 3rd period.
And they play on and on and on.
And absolutely. Many, many quarters.
Golik. Super nose tackle for the Cleveland Browns.
First and goal from the 5. Riggs, 4 carries in a row, and dragged down on a nice play by Mike Merriweather of the Steelers. It'll be 2nd and goal.
We talked about his quickness earlier. Mike Merriweather, not big for an outside linebacker, but he is so quick. He fights off the block, stays outside, gets outside of Morris, and even though he only carries about 215 pounds, he is able to take a 232-pound Gerald Riggs down right at the line of scrimmage.
And it figures a Steeler linebacker has been in the Pro Bowl for the last 17 years. At least one Steeler back. 2nd down goal from the 5. It'll be 3rd and goal with a half minute now to play in the 3rd period, and it's Merriweather and Fred Young making the tackle. So 3rd down and goal now at the 3-yard line.
Thinking about the Steeler linebackers, of course, you think right away of Jack Lambert, Jack Ham. Merriweather has been here several times. This is his 3rd Pro Bowl. We're going to let the final seconds of the 3rd quarter tick off.
They will, and they'll switch ends and have a 3rd and goal coming up from the 3-yard line when we come back. So that's the end of the 3rd quarter. The AFC on top by a score of 10 to 3, and ABC's Wide World of Sports returns after this message from your local station.
Monday at 4.
Didn't know yet. We go to the 4th quarter at the Pro Bowl, the final football game of the season in Honolulu. AFC on top by a score of 10 to 3, but the NFC has the ball at the 3-yard line. 3rd down and goal. And Tommy Kramer leads them up. He is Bavaro in tight on the right side. He has Dickerson and Riggs behind him. And Clark and Monk, the 2 Redskins, split to the left. Fake to Riggs. To Dickerson, who makes the catch, but he's run out of bounds at the 3-yard line. John Offerdahl makes the tackle, and so it'll be 4th down.
Super effort by the rookie, the only rookie starter in the Pro Bowl, Offerdahl from Miami. Was right out there with Dickerson. Kramer looked to his wide receivers. They were covered, and he fired it out to give Dickerson a chance to run, and Offerdahl was right there and stayed with the tackle all the way.
And Morton Anderson will come in to attempt a field goal with Jay Schrader to hold the ball at the 9-yard line. So an easy one from 19. Anderson has already connected from 38 to try to make the score 10 to 6. And the kick is good. 2 Anderson field goals here in the second half. 14:51 to play in the fourth quarter, and the AFC lead is now 4.
007.
I'm flattered. Bond is back.
James.
Just in time for dessert. The Man with the Golden Gun, Sunday.
AFC on top, 10-6. Morton Anderson to kick off for the NFC. And Bobby Joe Edmonds is back at the goal line for the American Conference, but it will never get there. An angled bouncing kick from Gary Anderson of the Chargers brings it back from the 13 out to the 29-yard line. And the AFC will have a 1st and 10 from the 29. 14:43 left in the fourth at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. 10-6 AFC.
For a warm and cozy castle, insulated safely from the cold of winter. Cold cuts? Oh, for Insulsafe 3 from Certainteed. Pure white fiberglass insulation. Thermally efficient, non-combustible. Oh, warm. For year-round comfort. Help protect your home or castle. Insulate safely with Insulsafe 3. Call your insulation contractor now.
Action resumes. It's a 1st and 10 for the American Conference with John Elway at quarterback at their own 28-yard line. AFC on top by 4. He has Brooks and Jackson in the backfield with him. And Elway throws over the middle and incomplete. Todd Christensen couldn't make the catch. He was shadowed by Mike Singletary of the Bears. 2nd down.
Christensen once again, and a good effort by Singletary. Singletary in his 4th Pro Bowl, and a good effort by Elway to even get it there. Christensen, 95 receptions this past season. Over the last 4 years, 349 receptions, regular season receptions.
And Christensen is the man who has scored the only touchdown of the game. On the final play of the first quarter on 2nd and 10. Incomplete. And let's get a word again from Lynn Swan on the sideline. Swanee.
Thank you, Al. I'm with a former teammate of mine, Joe Green, who begins what many people think is the final accreditation of the Steelers of the 70s. Joe, congratulations on going into the Hall of Fame.
Thank you, Mr. Swan.
Why Mr. Swan?
Well, you know, you always have the upper hand on me, and you do right now.
Joe, has this been an honor you look forward to for the years that you've been retired?
Well, I tell you, I am extremely happy right now because I feel that I have an awful lot of people to share this with me. Speaking about the fans in Pittsburgh, my friends in Dallas, and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
They just wiped out our camera. Oh, maybe we got Swan with it.
And the audio as well as Reggie White hits Elway. Are you there, Swanee?
Dangerous down there.
One of the perils of being down here on the sideline doing an interview is you don't know all the action that's going on behind you. And we almost got wiped out there, Joe.
Well, I had my eyes on it. I was taking care of myself now.
Oh, you weren't looking out for me.
Lynn, I always told you I took care of you.
And I know you have. I know you have, Joe. You have a great definition or an explanation of the Hall of Fame being an honor as opposed to the Super Bowl something you achieve. Would you give us that definition?
Well, the Hall of Fame, no question about it, it is the most esteemed honor that an athlete can have. But you can't compare it to the Super Bowls because the Super Bowls are accomplishments, and those are the things that I strived for, was to win Super Bowls. I didn't strive for the Hall of Fame. It was just an accomplishment for me being involved with an outstanding organization, an outstanding group of young men over a period of time, 13 years.
Well, Joe, I know I appreciate all the work you did for the Steelers and the great play. And everyone in Pittsburgh is happy to see you going into the Hall of Fame on the first ballot. Thank you, and congratulations.
Thank you, Leon.
start. Puts it in the air, fielded by Sikahema at the 33. And Sikahema has turned into Mr. Excitement today with 3 fumbles and 2 good runbacks.
Good move by Sikahema. Looking to the outside where they had a picket line set up. And he sees a little opening to the inside, and he does this as well as anyone playing today. Spots a little gap and wiggles to it, turns on the speed, and gets the NFC back in good field position once again.
In the final minute of the 1983 Pro Bowl, Danny White threw an 11-yard touchdown pass to John Jefferson to give the NFC a 20-19 victory over the AFC.
Good little message right there as our director Andy Sedaris continues his auditions for his next movie. If I was in the trade, you wouldn't have even had to identify our director. Andy's next movie, Hard Ticket to Hawaii, will be opening up at a drive-in in Czechoslovakia near you. Following that epic, Malibu Express. It opened and closed in Bakersfield.
The NFC at the 44 on a reverse. It's Rice of the 49ers and nowhere to go as he is stopped back at the 49-yard line by Raymond Claiborne of New England and also Jacob Green of Seattle. Jay Schrader in now at quarterback.
And again to the fourth quarter, that play is a play designed when you are getting a lot of pursuit. We're in the fourth quarter, we're not getting a whole lot of pursuit. Another look at just playing it off Jacob Green, and he's right there and right in the face of Jerry Rice. Loss of 5 yards.
Second and 10, NFC at the 50, AFC on top, 10-6. The fake to Dickerson, slings it out to Payton, who makes a juggling catch at the 46-yard line for a gain of about 4. And it'll be third down. Third and about 12.
Again, Kramer wanted to go upfield on that pass, or rather Schrader wanted to go upfield, and nothing doing there. Good coverage, and he has to check it off to Payton. Payton comes out now, and we'll send another wide receiver in, Gary Clark of the Washington Redskins.
There was a chance that Darrell Green, and I guess there still is a chance, could see some action at wide receiver, the defensive back from Washington, but he has not appeared there yet. Again, they're -1 wide receiver as Mike Cook came down to the field today. Eagle wide out. On 3rd and 12, a lot of room for Schrader to run, and he has the first down and plenty more out of bounds at the 28-yard line.
Talk about the athletic ability of John Elway. Jay Schrader can move that football also on the ground. He's a fine athlete. Dances around back there, wide open field. He had his teammate, who was also wide open downfield. Gary Clark was gesturing and waving his arms. He was wide open, but Schrader saw the open field, knew he could get the first down, assured himself of that, and got it inside the 30-yard line.
First down, NFC at the American Conference 28. Joe Morris. He takes it to the 20, and it'll be 2nd and 2 as Chip Banks, the outside linebacker from the Cleveland Browns, stops Morris.
Oh, I'd hate to see this. He's very slow getting up.
Fortunately today, no major injuries. Normally, there are few, if any, major injuries in the Pro Bowl. The rules of helping to create that situation. Also, some respect amongst the players as well, and the intensity level is not what it would be in a regular season or a playoff game.
Joe injured his ankle following the Washington Redskin game, and I was talking with him, and I asked him about the ankle. He came out of that one, and I asked him if the ankle was bothering. He said, my entire body bothers me at this point in the season.
2nd and 2 at the 20. Dickerson, and he's wrapped up back at the line of scrimmage, fumbles the football, but gets it back. Bill Moss made the hit, and then Jacob Green was also in there. Back to the 26 it goes.
Take a look at it again. Right up the middle. That's Moss, the nose tackle from the Chiefs. And then Jacob Green is making sure.
Speaking of fumbles, we were talking before about the record for fumbles and whether Payton held it or not. He doesn't. The NFL record, Roman Gabriel, the quarterback, 105. Most by a running back would be Franco Harris with 90.
Thinking right on that line up and carrying them times. They're going to lead in some department.
3rd and 8, and Schrader throws and on the sideline and making the catch is his teammate Monk for a first down at the 7-yard line. Schrader to Monk, just the way it is in the nation's capital from 19.
But again, it was Schrader's athletic ability that kept it alive. He was under pressure. He bobbled the ball, pulling away from the center. Had to sprint to the outside, looking for someone. Give me a break, guys. I'm covered down there. And finally, Monk does. Defensively, it was Benefield first, and then Sherry making the stop. And not until Monk sets up the NFC with the first down goal to go.
And for Monk, that's his first catch of the day. There are his numbers for the season. Gain of 19, 10-12 to play in the 4th period. NFC trailing by 4. The first and goal. Riggs stopped by Sherry. Bill Moss also in on the play. The 2 Kansas City Chiefs. 2nd down and goal.
Tough to run it down here close. We've seen both teams try it inside the 10-yard line. Now Eric Dickerson is coming back in with the play from Joe Gibbs for the NFC. And I'm quite sure we'll see them go up on top. Again, it will be a predictable defense. If they will be looking over, they will be able to tell right away whether it's man for man or will be a strong side zone defense. And that really helps the offense, really helps the quarterback.
2nd and goal with Dickerson and Riggs in the backfield. And Schrader to throw over the middle to Dickerson. He is stopped at the 1-yard line. And the touchdown was saved at the 1-yard line to make it 3rd down and goal.
Navarro now checks in with the next play, and we'll go back and take a look at Kramer. All the time he needed to get the ball to Dickerson, just circling out of the backfield, coming around, and Kramer just waited, and rather Schrader just waited until he uncovered it, and there he was.
And it was Deron Sherry who, for the moment, was able to save the touchdown with a tackle at the 3rd down and goal. Dickerson is the tailback. Dickerson, flag is down. No signal yet from any of the officials as to whether he was over or not. But there's a marker anyway, and it doesn't matter because it's motion against the NFC. And the NFC had lined up Wolfley, who's in the game as a special teamer.
Illegal motion, left guard, offense, still 3rd down.
Wolfley was the blocking back for Dickerson, and illegal motion by the left guard.
Right at your speed.
Russ Grimm. Russ Grimm of Washington.
And the 5-yard penalty will back it out to the 6-yard line. The down remains the same. Just change your thinking totally. You'll have to put it up in the air. Tight end Steve Jordan has come back in.
Jordan lines up on the right side on 3rd down and goal. Clark and Rice will split to the left, and the pass into the end zone is caught by Lloyd Burris, so picked off by the Kansas City defensive back. Art Monk, the intended receiver, and Lloyd Burris of the Chiefs, one of 2 Chiefs in the secondary, playing in the Pro Bowl, picking it off.
Schrader tried to squeeze it into Monk. Burris is number 34. Coming right at you. And a violent collision as they both played the ball. Neither, I think, saw each other. And Burris comes out the winner, definitely the winner. Gets the interception, and Kansas City has not only come up with the interception for the AFC, but the touchback as well.
Hello from Hawaii. This is...
I'm his wife, Glenda. How you doing, D.C.?
Hello, D.C.
in over 20 years in all kinds of racing. This may be the best result we've ever had. The Acura Integra, from a new division of American Honda, exclusively at Acura dealers.
There's our producer, Ken Wolf. Our crack crew here in
Been a long year.
Honolulu. Yeah, that's what it will turn you into.
Man grew feathers.
AFC has the ball after the interception at their own 20-yard line with 8:05 to play, and Boomer Esiason in the game, and we've got a whistle before the snap.
False start, 78. Offense, still first down.
Anthony Munoz, who is playing in his 6th consecutive Pro Bowl, missed out only as a rookie. He, along with Lawrence Taylor, were unanimous choices this year. Notre Dame is shocking North Carolina today. The Irish beat UNC by 2, and next week they take on Kansas. ABC's college basketball a week from today at 2 o'clock Eastern time. First and 15, Esiason of the AFC from the 15-yard line, and he gives to his teammate with the Bengals, James Brooks, for a gain of 1. Second and 14 from the 16-yard line. Brooks, 3 good years at San Diego, then on to the Bengals. Bengals well represented here with Esiason, Brooks, Montoya, and Munoz, all from the offensive unit.
Brooks is a good type of player to have if you're coaching in the Pro Bowl because he can do so many things. Run the ball out of the backfield. Good receiver.
Second and 14. Esiason setting it up and throwing for Schuler, and it's incomplete. Harry Carson covering. Carson, one of 8 Giants, and Schuler, one of 2 Jets. The other being Al Toon, who's had a silent day, has not caught a pass. You know, it's interesting talking about representation amongst the teams. The Dallas Cowboys, for the first time ever, nobody in the Pro Bowl. Dallas, Detroit, Green Bay, Tampa Bay in the NFC shutout, and Buffalo and Houston without representation for the AFC. Third and 14 from the 16-yard line. Esiason chased by Manley and run out of bounds. And Dexter takes a security guy with him as well.
And draws the flag. Manley is going to get penalized, I'm quite sure, for the late hit. He was really making sure that Boomer did not get that off field and avoid the loss in yardage. He would have taken out the stadium.
Personal foul, hit out of bounds, 72. Defense, first down.
Well, I don't know whether they're booing the official or Dexter Manley. Very emotional player. He plays this game 100%, whether it's a Pro Bowl or whether it's a regular season or a playoff game for the Redskins. There's always questionable calls because had he let up much at all, Esiason could have delivered the ball upfield, avoiding a loss.
Takes it out to the 32-yard line, first and 10 for the AFC. 7:12 to play in the 4th quarter. Brooks goes the other way, and there's Manley chasing him, but can't get him. Duerson can't get him, but Burke does. Jim Byrne of the Giants tackles him back at the 29-yard line for a loss of about 3.
Brooks looked like he was trying to run the clock out.
Yeah, not a bad idea.
Gifted little football player. I say little at 5'10", 180 pounds or so. If you look at Marty Schottenheimer putting the instructions into the field.
Schottenheimer leading his team to the AFC Championship game. Beaten there by Denver. Second down, 13 on the 29. That's Ernest Jackson going through the middle. And he's out to the 31-yard line, and thus it will be 3rd down, 11, as the clock continues to run with 6:15 to play in the 4th quarter.
Joe Gibbs looking on, and the NFC has never been held without a touchdown in the 17-year history of the AFC-NFC Pro Bowl, and that has been the case thus far today. 2 Anderson field goals. There's been only 1 touchdown in the game on the final play of the first quarter. Todd Christensen taking it in for the American Conference.
Almost unimaginable with all that talent out there that you couldn't get at least 1 touchdown.
3rd and 11 as Esiason scrambles, throws back the other way, and it's incomplete. And Stanley Morgan wanted a flag, but won't get it as he was bumped. Contact made by Harry Carson, and it'll be 4th down. And we can tell you that this evening's Disney Sunday movie, You Ruined My Life, will be coming up immediately following football coverage, except on the West Coast, where the Disney Sunday movie will be seen as scheduled at 7 o'clock Pacific time. Sikahema back to receive the kick. After fumbling 3 times, he's had a couple of good run backs back-to-back. And Ron Stark to kick it away. And it's a low-angle kick. That bounces out of bounds at the 32-yard line. So the NFC will take over there. They trail by 4. And we have 5:27 to play in the AFC-NFC Pro Bowl in Hawaii.
A saving game.
Sellout crowd at Aloha Stadium, Honolulu. Gorgeous day, cloudless sky, nice little breeze. Trade winds blowing lightly. And the NFC trailing the AFC 10-6 as the blue-clad National Conference Stars have the football at their own 32-yard line, 1st and 10.
And now, it's what I was talking about a little earlier, is both teams are starting to think about that $5,000 difference. $10,000 to each winning player, $5,000 to each losing player. That's over $200,000 collectively. And now with 5:27 remaining in the game, that is starting to be very meaningful.
NFC 1st and 10 at their own 32. Schrader, the quarterback. Payton and Dickerson, the running backs. Rice and Monk wide left. And the pass out here to Clark, caught at the 42-yard line. And close to a 1st down.
What a combination that has been over the past couple of years. Schrader to his teammate Gary Clark. Clark again very conscious of where he is, making sure that he is down, making sure both feet have made contact inbounds. Up close to the 1st down, misses by about a foot.
2nd and inches at the 42-yard line. Payton, 34. Dickerson, 29. Back of Schrader. Dickerson, big hole, and into AFC territory, taking it to the 47-yard line. Great ram back, gives the NFC a 1st down, and the clock now approaching the 5-minute mark.
Schrader looking over to his head coach, Joe Gibbs. Play being signaled into Schrader. They've been changing it up well. They've been going upfield with the pass. Schrader has been coming off it when he's in trouble, hitting the checkoff man, and they've been using a lot of draw, as the AFC has been thinking mostly pass.
Schrader, incomplete, caught on a hop by Jerry Rice, and it will be 2nd and 10. And another word now from Sewanee.
Thank you, Al. I'm here with Gene Upshaw from the, well, I guess I should say Oakland Raiders when you were playing there.
Yes, it was the Raiders, and it was a great career, great city to play in. I had a great organization to play for, and we won a lot of games thanks to Al Davis and all he's done for that team.
Does it mean more to you as a director of the Players Union to have been an all-pro performer and now an inductee to the Hall of Fame?
Yes, it does, because I was a little skeptical with the position I'm in to be inducted.
1982, there was a strike. 8 games, 57 days were missed to football action. Very, very negative effect on football. From 1982 to 1987, what will be different about the negotiations that's going on between the union and the ownership now?
I think that Jack Donlin and myself have built up a relationship that will be helpful as we go into negotiations, simply because we feel that you have to have communication. Boardman has to be compromised. We're willing to compromise, but we have to do it fairly, and for the good of the game, we'll do whatever's best.
Okay, Gene, thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed being here, and this is the closest I've been to a Steeler without getting upset.
I'm glad to hear that.
A moment ago, while we were talking with Gene Upshaw, you were watching Jerry Rice, who out of bounds, came back in and made a spectacular catch. He made so many of them this past season with the 49ers, but he taken that out of bounds. He was ineligible when he came back onto the field.
Once you're out, you can't come back in. It's third down and 10 at the 47-yard line. As Schrader retreats. Steps up, throws, and dropped at the 30-yard line. Clark was sandwiched on the play between Deron Cherry and Ray Claiborne, so he can't hang on, and it's fourth down and 10.
And the hitting is getting a little tougher out there. This is Clark trying to take it over the middle, concentrating all the way. And here comes the pop. Cherry. Claiborne is there. They catch him right in the sandwich, and he cannot hold on to it. And he was a little shaken up over it.
Sean Landeta to punt with 4:22 to play now in the fourth period. And Bobby Joe Edmonds, the receiving specialist, is back at the 10. High and short kick. Out of bounds, it bounces at the 14-yard line. So the NFC will try to keep the AFC pinned deep with 4:11 after a 32-yard kick.
Maybe he didn't stay long enough with Gene Upshaw. He was one of the great players ever to play this game also with the Oakland Raiders, 15 years, and he is a super executive director of the Players Association with a big job ahead of him. Coming up, the wide world of sports, the National Figure Skating Championships, more of the Alpine Skiing Championships from Crans-Montana in Switzerland, and of course the America's Cup Report. Wide world of sports. I'll be there with Becky Dixon next Saturday, so you be with us.
AFC at the 15-yard line, first and 10. 4:11 to play, fourth period. Ernest Jackson takes it out to the 19. As the AFC tries to use up some of the clock here, each team has its full complement of timeouts remaining, each with 3 left.
The AFC would like to rattle some time off, but there's a lot of time remaining. They could start, the NFC, that is, could start controlling this game with their timeouts. I just want to keep the AFC down here. Don't give them a first down if you can avoid that in any way, so that when they have to punt, no matter where they from and not getting the first down, you're going to get it back to your field position.
Second and 7 to Esiason, throws complete to Payton, and he has a first down at the 31-yard line. Mark Payton of the Miami Dolphins making his first catch of the day.
Keeps the clock moving, and a fine catch. Let's take again another look at the hitting. Payton over the middle, and runs right into one of the best football players around, Ronnie Lott. Tries to bring it back over the middle and kept his feet. But he does what they wanted to do most of all, and that is get the first down. Keep that clock moving, stay in bounds, and keep it working.
AFC at the 31-yard line, 2:48 to play, fourth quarter. AFC on top by 4. Brooks loses his helmet, but holds on to the football as he takes it out to the 35. It'll be second down and 7 as Leroy Irvin comes up to help on the tackle. And the NFC will take a timeout here as they begin to think about conserving whatever they can of the remaining time. Had they not called timeout here, the AFC could have taken its time on piling and then let the clock run down to just about the 2-minute warning. And so Joe Gibbs elects to use the first of his 3 timeouts at the 2:37 mark. And we talked about it earlier, Frank, that so many of the rules are put in to increase the opportunity to score, to make it easier for the passing offenses, and yet every now and again you'll get a game like this, a 13-10er or a 16-13 as we had a couple of years back, and today just 1 touchdown.
Each game seems to have its own character. Over the years, as we watched it, we mentioned the game a couple of years ago where there were 17 sacks. Gastineau was the MVP of the game with 4 of those sacks. And, of course, the rules, again, are put in to inhibit the defense, but you can pull together so quickly over a matter of just a few days. It's tough to do that with an offense with the nomenclature being different with each team. The odd and the evens are different. But, as you say, every now and then you get one like this. It's been a very close to the best game thus far, with the turnover being the key thing that led to the 1 touchdown that we've seen, and that on the part of the AFC, that great effort by Todd Christensen.
Fewest points, a total of 20 in the 79 Pro Bowl game, the year before they moved the event here.
We're about to shatter that.
2nd and 7 from the 35. Brooks doesn't want to go out of bounds, and he doesn't, but he has to absorb a loss back to the 32-yard line. Darrell Green up from the corner to make the tackle, and the NFC is going to take another timeout, so they have 1 remaining, and we have 2:30 remaining now, and it will be 3rd down and long coming up for the AFC.
They had to take that timeout, or the AFC would have just let the clock tick down to the 2-minute warning. So they have to use a timeout and save themselves 30 seconds, but now they are down to 1.
Time to put the game face on. 2:30, and you're playing for what amounts to a $5,000 difference at this point.
That's a mink coat. So holiday in the Bahamas.
A mink coat. 5 gross is what, about $2,500 net? Yeah. It's a couple of sashimi appetizers at a few of the joints we frequented this week.
We caught one between the eyes last night, didn't we?
Thanks, pal.
You're welcome. We did a number on the Chardonnay, though.
Right. Saskatchewan saluting Reuben Mays, the great rookie running back of the New Orleans Saints, and he was voted into the Pro Bowl game, but because of an injury, unable to appear. Reuben Mays out of Washington State in the Palouse country, helping to turn things around for New Orleans this year. That's exactly what the AFC wanted at this point after the NFC had taken a couple of timeouts. They're down to just 1, and now they can let it run down to the 2-minute warning, keep the ball on the ground, and the NFC can stop the clock just once more. First catch of the day for Largent.
But what a career.
He's the man, of course, who's caught passes in the 139 consecutive regular season games.
And heading towards 700 reception career, and is far from over. We'll be back in a moment.
On at the Pro Bowl, where the AFC has things in hand right now. They lead 10-6. They've just picked up a big first down, and the NFC has been forced to use a couple of its timeouts, so they're down to just 1. 1st and 10 for the American Conference at the 45-yard line. And they keep it on the ground, and it's Brooks who takes the ball out to the 50-yard line. Now the NFC will spend its final timeout.
This has not been one of your thrillers, I can assure you of that. The biggest thrill was watching Bai Sukahima and speculating whether or not he was going to handle the punts. When you consider all the great talent here, it has been missing a lot of the great play. Barry Carson getting some defensive instructions on the sidelines. One of 8 Giants who are here, and will very shortly be sporting the Super Bowl ring. Boomer Esiason, one of the new breed of quarterbacks in the NFL, on his way up after coming off a great season. In Cincinnati, passing for over 58%, 24 touchdowns, close to 4,000 yards. Playing in his first Pro Bowl because of an injury to Dan Marino that is going to require some minor knee surgery for Marino, and he could not be here.
Who do you like for player of the game?
Bai Sukahima.
I agree with you. Mr. Excitement today.
His guys will still talk to him.
They have an Outstanding Player Award. They are seeking our vote.
Todd Christensen.
It's known as the Dan McGuire Award, named after the late sports writer and friend of many in the islands, a little advertiser. Second down and 5 from the 50-yard line, and Brooks takes it to the 49. The NFC cannot stop the clock, and so their only hope right now is to stop the AFC on this next play. And again, the Disney Sunday movie will be seen in its conclusion after the game and at its regularly scheduled 7 o'clock time slot on the West Coast. AFC letting the clock run down.
Kind of a helpless feeling. You can't do anything about it, and the final seconds are ticking off. AFC will think sure hands, don't cough it up and stay in bounds no matter what.
3rd and 4, and Brooks appears to be just shy of the first down, so it'll be 4th down and inches, and the NFC might have a chance to get the ball back and run a play or two if they can hold them here. Or if the AFC opts to punt.
Interesting decision. Do you go for it here with a 4th down and less than a yard? Do you punt the football? Do you go up to the line of scrimmage and take a 5-yard penalty and after using it all and then punt it? Those are the options that are being considered by Marty Schottenheimer.
Down to a half minute on the game clock. And finally they take a timeout after they take as much off the 30-second clock as they can. And that stops it now at 27 seconds. So 4th down and inches at the 45-yard line. Marty Schottenheimer of the Browns along with Boomer Esiason of Cincinnati.
The decision is whether or not you go for it. 4th down and less than a yard. If you, whatever happens, if you don't make it, that clock is going to stop with the change of teams on the field. If you make it, of course, you're golden, then this thing is history. Great collection of players. Always fun just to be here. I mentioned earlier I've played in 6 of them over my career, and it was always such a interesting kind of a trip in the sense that you'd meet people for the first time you'd heard about, you'd watched them on television, the different players, and in all probability they weren't at all like you thought they would be. And as I mentioned earlier too, so many great friendships have grown out of this game, lasting friendships. We watched 7 Hall of Famers today: Larry Zonka, Lynn Dawson, Joe Green, John Henry Johnson, Jim Langley, Don Maynard, Dean Upshaw, all of them to be inducted next summer in Canton, Ohio. What a day this had to be for them.
The punting unit comes in, start to kick. And it is Sikahema standing back at his own 10-yard line. So don't go away. You never know. This one will wind up going through the end zone, and so the NFC will have the football at the 20-yard line. 80 yards away with no timeouts and 19 seconds. So time for a couple of plays.
Stark got a lot of style points on that, but he got a net of 25 yards out of it because he puts it in the end zone for the touchback and makes things at least comfortable for Schrader when he comes out.
Meanwhile, the player of the game has been selected, and he is Reggie White, the defensive end of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Had a good choice. He was all over the field tonight.
I suppose it's appropriate that a member of a defensive unit should be the outstanding player of a 10-6 game.
19 seconds, no timeouts. Give us a miracle.
Schrader throws it out to Rice, and he's out of bounds up at the 33-yard line, but that chewed up 6 seconds, and now you're down to 13.
Reggie White of the Philadelphia Eagles, only in his second year out of Tennessee, his first Pro Bowl, and he has played it all out. He played it to the max today. He was that AFC backfield all afternoon.
13 seconds now with Gary Clark split to the left and Jerry Rice split to the right. Schrader looking and then throwing it out of bounds because everybody was covered.